Hey everybody, welcome back to another Eagle's Nest video. Today we have a tier list. We're going to be going over what happened in BT25 and looking at some of the new decks and where they're going to place in EX12. So to introduce our lineup today of speakers, I have Savior Kupo. How you doing?
Hi, doing fantastic. Happy to be here.
Okay, Kupo has his own channel called DigiGalaxy Gaming. Where he basically plays every single deck that ever comes out, and he also likes Digimon video games and has some videos about that too, like Time Stranger. He's a pretty good player. He doesn't play a lot of competitive, but when he does, he's playing a variety of decks. He's not focused on always winning or playing the best deck, but he likes to get a rounded experience. And next we have Marshmallow Ruffian. What's up?
My AC's broken, so it's really hot where I'm at.
Cool. Well, I hope you feel cool tomorrow. That's hot, bro. That's hot.
Thanks,
Okay.
bro.
So Marshmallow also has a video. He does live streams every time he does a tournament. He's highly rated. He really likes his top tier decks. So
Is
he
that
was
true?
he was playing a lot of Numemon when that was the best. Uh, the blue hybrid when that was the best, and right now he's playing Marukimon OTK. It's a deck that's not on everybody's radar, but he always performs well with it. And you see he's also got a YouTube channel you could check out. And over here we have V Passion, the one and only. How you doing?
Good, Michael. Thanks for having us. And I can confirm Marshmallow's Maruki deck is a scary deck for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
V Passion has been hitting the gym, if the gym were playing TCG Digimon tournaments. 82.5% win rate. I don't even know if a higher win rate exists. Uh, he's one of I think he might be the only, but maybe he's the first person to break 1,800 ELO rating on Digilabs. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's been uploading more frequently, doing live streams more often, giving demos of his gameplay. He plays webcam and on DCGO, so you could see what it's like from his perspective if you want to watch some of DCGO games. He's very well known for decks like Jessmon, Hunters, Royal Knights, and most recently Jupitermon. All right, so let's get into the tier list. So last time in our tier list, we said the top two decks were Glowing Dawn and Teapot OTK, and we said that Beelstar was at the top of A tier, and we realized that we should redefine our tiers because we wanted to put Beelstar in the highest tier, which we called carries you, as in the deck is so good you don't have it's brain dead, it carries you. But a lot of people are doing really well with Beelstar, and well, it does benefit you if you master the deck, but it's a deck that a lot of people have picked up, so it's benefited them. So we changed the tier lists. In S, we're calling it meta defining. So these are the decks that you're thinking about when you're building your deck. You need to beat these decks to win a tournament. High power, these are the rest of the great decks in the format. You can definitely win tournaments with these decks, win regionals, but they might go a little bit under the radar as far as defining the meta. Locals viable. These are decks that we think you'll have fun with at a locals and maybe win a 8 to 12 person tournament, but they're not going to probably win a regionals. Support waiting room. These are the not so great decks that we hope will get support in the future. Lost and Forgotten. These are decks that Bandai will probably not upgrade anymore, and they're only going to get worse from here. So let's start us off. We have the Tratus-based Glowing Dawn deck. Kupo, I think you play this deck the most. Let's hear your opinion first. What do you think about this deck? Where is it now?
So, at the beginning of BT25, when the starter decks came out, it was dominating everywhere. And that's because the deck is just inherently so memory efficient. As Beelstar specifically got way more popular, if your Glowing Dawn deck is primarily a Tratus focused, it just dies to any option card. So we're actually seeing a shift away from the Atratusmon and more focus on the Habakirimon. But if you're talking about Glowing Dawn as a deck, I think the deck is still very strong and meta defining. It's going to make top 8 at regionals. they're going to do well. Being able to play their option cards, their dual cards for 1 memory or 0 with the Tomoro Tamer is just it is what the game is all about right now. And they're going to get more support next set as well. So
And
it's a deck that's just going to be on everyone's mind for the foreseeable future, probably for the rest of the year.
I think they're at a very interesting spot too right now, though, because with Beelstar in existence and TB, which we'll talk about later, that Glowing Dawn players are at a split where do you play the more Habakiri to cover the Beelstar matchups, or do you play more Stratus to cover the TB matchup? And with both decks, both of those decks, Beelstar and TB, being prevalent, yeah, just thinking where Glowing Dawn's build is gonna shift. Yeah.
Based on some spoiler support for the upcoming set, I think people are going to shift more toward the Habakiri stuff moving
Okay.
forward. But
We can
yeah.
skip the Teapot OTK and the Beelstar and just talk about the Habakiri yellow side of the deck. Is that even better than the Atratus, like the 4 of Atratus now?
I would say the Astratus. I mean, if TB gets very popular again, or is popular, or you go into a meta where TB is in a surplus, that the Stratus build is gonna emerge victory because it's like the only wall you have against Susano.
Mhm.
And if you have more Habakiris, you're defenseless.
Yeah, a lot of the newer EX12 decks have a hard time dealing with immune guys. They don't have like easy, clean answers, most of them. So if you just have a guy that can repeatedly trigger their immunity, it is something that will stave off the onslaught and let you keep playing the game and generating more value.
Right.
So it's completely just dependent on the meta of your scene where you're playing, which one it will be better. It just depends on which matchup you're more concerned with.
Marshmallow, do you feel like the immunity is more important, or the ability to protect against options is more important?
I mean, in all honesty, I think that Beat Break right now in its current iteration should have a little bit of both in the deck. I think the Eagle Split is probably the best you can hope
Equal
for
split. Okay.
because both are obviously good against like a very specific kind of deck into the current meta, but the other one obviously suffers into it as well. So I think just having an Equal Split gives you the highest chance of at least seeing the card that you need more frequently into those certain matchups.
Okay. So it's kind of a duality. We're not really focused anymore on one over the other. People are recommended to play a split now. Let's talk about the Teapot OTK. Last time we said it was a deck that's, it was S tier. Is it still S tier? It feels like now that we all know how it works, we're not just gonna let it steal a game from us. But does that mean that every deck can do that? Does that mean that only a few decks can stand up against it? Where do we put the Teapot OTK?
It's like an A tier deck.
I think in BT25 we put it in S tier because it was incredibly strong. It's off. I think it has like the highest offensive potential.
It
I think
also
there were
came out of
some
nowhere.
numbers run.
It wasn't a Bandai intended deck. It was just like a community or a fan made deck that just caught people off guard.
I think so. The math was done, and with that deck, you have an 8% chance to just win the game in OTK on turn 2, which is not very high. So, if you want to, if you're a gambling man, then great. And the format with EX12 is, I get a sense that it's slowing down. We're not focused on just bursting all your security down on turn 3, turn 2, or turn 3 anymore.
Hmm.
All of the decks that came out in EX12 are not designed to win the game on turn 2 or turn 3. They're designed to play the longer game, generate and grind a lot of resources, which we haven't seen in a long time. A format that is leaning that way, and I get the feeling that future formats are going to be that way because the lead designer changed,
So are you
so
Yeah,
their
saying that
philosophy is different.
That works
And well,
defensively to stop the Teapot OTK from doing its thing.
yeah, the Teapot OTK deck struggles into boards that are sticky and have
Yeah.
tons of interaction on their turn.
Like Teapot
Um,
will still do its thing when it does its thing, still games turn 2, which is almost unmanageable. But if it doesn't, now it's entering a meta, like Koopa said, where EX12, where say TB and SW, it'll create these board states where now you have to figure out how to break that board state. And um, I think now Bandai's asking the players to interact and to, you know, I think it's healthy for player base to now be able to manage board states and configure how to, plan out their steps in terms of there's now different forms of obstacles in the way where you have to jigsaw this puzzle, and it's healthy for the brain. And
yeah,
we're no longer just blindly checking a bunch of checks away and hope for a high roll game. Now we're going to have an interaction. We're going to have this exchange for a couple of those few turns, and we're going to play some chess.
Hmm. Okay.
yeah. I think the game, just design wise, the game is heading toward that kind of space where a lot of the player base has been complaining about or wanting for a long time. Like the pre BT9 world of Digimon, where you're actually trading resources and making important decisions, uh, slowly is coming back, but with a more modernized power scale,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
is pretty cool.
So Beelstar is a deck that people often think about. It has to at least be high power, if not meta defining. And it's a very popular opinion that it is the best deck in the format. Marshmallow, you've figured out how to disassemble this deck and destroy it and defeat it very easily. Where do you put this deck, even though it's a deck that you can handle on
Top
as
S
an
tier. It's
opponent
the
very
best deck in
easily?
the format, in my opinion, for sure. Like
So
it's there. I don't think there's
the
another
best
deck
deck.
that is better than this. Yeah, I don't think there's a single deck in the format that is better than a good BLSR player piloting this deck for sure.
Yeah, currently.
Okay.
Currently, it
Yeah.
has the TS backbone and recursion. It can Digivolve from the trash, and it just slings options like crazy. And Bind Red Trigger, basically saying that the deck never has to interact with security until they win the game, is a they just don't have to worry about that aspect of the game, so they can focus purely on controlling your board.
And
Uh,
I will
it's
say that the
strong.
reason, just for clarification for everyone watching, Michael says I have figured out how to dismantle and beat this deck because of a tournament that I won where every other top player was basically on Beelstar. And yes, the deck is beatable. You can manage against it. And I think that even if your opponent is the best Beelstar player in the world, you can still beat them when they're on this deck. It is just such a difficult deck to do so against because of how many tools they have available to them. There's not really a form of removal that they're missing that doesn't overlap with their other forms of removal. And then being the only deck that I think consistently can trash your opponent's security for like 3 or 4 outside of like Teapot OTK is a huge boon. And then the ability to float and stuff are also exceptionally nice about this deck. Like I don't know. It also
Yeah.
another positive for it is that it does well into the other good decks in the format, which is like a huge boon.
Yeah, and also, um, you mentioned earlier, it's a deck with really high power, and with a even higher caliber player piloting it, makes that ceiling even higher. So it's one of those decks that's ultra rewarding, especially since it has like certain sequencings in terms of the options when attacking in evo lines that you can um, dance around to dismantle your opponent's board, and also it has such a strong recursion. They can get their board wiped, and for one memory, can essentially get back up into Beelstar, or just have a multitude of play lines to revive themselves to be ready to respond and go back to the defensive. So, really strong deck, and even stronger deck with a stronger player.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Medusa. This is my favorite deck of late. I feel like I'm always trying to get a little bit lucky to beat these other decks that we've talked about so far, but the deck performs well. If you understand what the opponent is trying to do, you just try not to feed into them, try to draw well, and I don't know. We thought that it was going to be A tier last time. Um, in the middle of the format, I thought that I had given up on the deck in spirit. I kept playing it, but then I got my momentum back, and it started to do well again for me. Uh, it it does have the interaction of preventing on deletions, which comes up against Beelstar. You can bottom deck options from trash, again, great against Beelstar. You have protection to survive the Atratus version, not so much the minus 12 KDP that the Habakirimon could do, and sometimes they do more than that. Um, but it has a spot where it's fair into the meta, and you are going to see a couple people still playing it because it was so popular before. I would still put it at A tier. What do you guys think?
I think it's
I
probably
think
still
Medusa.
here.
I think Medusa still is very, very strong. It cannot be lower than A. Like if your deck doesn't have a game plan against Medusa, you will just get rolled over. It's incredibly strong still.
Yeah, it's still a
Progress is
force.
a hell of a keyword.
Yep, still a force to be reckoned with, especially if you play against Mike or folks that have had multiple seasons on Medusa, a well piloted Medusa. Going into a regional, you can't let your guard down.
Okay, Marukimon. Marshmallow plays this deck. This is his champion deck, and if everybody could play like him, it would be S tier. But it's really uncommon to see other people still playing this deck. Marshmallow, what do you think about Marukimon OTK?
Yeah, I mean the new Smart EX12, the Susanoo gives you another line to lethal. So now you have like 5 different kinds of hands that let you kill your opponent. So that's always a big boon.
Hold on, can you elaborate
And
on that? You said Susanomon. What are you doing with Susanomon?
oh, Susanoo is a TS card. So you can Evo into it passing turn because it has Rush. You can just swing with your Danyuki, which is trashing one card because you're gonna almost always have 4 sources underneath. 4 different colors underneath, I mean, specifically. And then the last check will swing in for a game there. Uh, and you can do it in a couple of different ways depending on what your board state ends up looking like.
So
So
you
it's
just got an
nice.
upgrade in EX12. You were already good, and now you
Yeah,
got an upgrade.
yeah, and
So
it's good. Like it's nice.
do you think that there is a world where the deck starts winning a lot and people are building around it, or is it just very good, but people are not thinking about it too much, so it's not really meta defining?
I think the deck has the similar issue that Teapot OTK does, which is you can high roll your opponent very easily, but there are also certain hands that are a bit gummy, requiring an extra like turn or two to set up, and we don't have as much like board control or presence as like other decks. We do have more than Teapot does, so we have like a lot more comeback potential, especially with Susanomon added to the list now. We can use Susanomon not only as a finisher tool, but also as like a complete board wipe, which feels exceptionally well. I think the deck is harder to build around per se, but I think it is a knowledge matchup where I think the more you know how to play around the deck and what to expect from us, the easier it is to not lose immediately. Like playing around a lot of the TS tamers, knowing what memory amounts we need, knowing how many cards we need in hand to realistically perform the combo, and then trying to just play around the individual lines we could take, I think are the best ways to play around the deck. Um, and because it's
The
so rare, it's a bit difficult.
Vpassion and Kupo, have you guys played against this deck? Do you have any opinions on it?
I haven't played against it with any of the EX12 new stuff, so I don't specifically know the interactions. But just based on what I've seen, it's still strong. It's a high power deck for sure. It didn't
Yeah.
lose anything. It's still doing what it's always done. And
Mhm.
yeah, Susanomon kind of being the classic BT5 Omni for game. It's just an extra top end tool. They can't use the assembly part of Susanomon because it doesn't work with TS.
God, if only.
But
God.
they just have a new top end level 7 that they can just it extends their lethal range. So it's good.
Yeah, let's say like Marshmallow said, it's a knowledge check, especially in Marshmallow's build where it's a mixture of Angels and Maruki that catching opponents unaware and not knowing what memory expenditure or how to leave your board state can definitely catch you off guard. The only thing I would say is entering, say, regionals, if you were to like consciously prepare, I just don't know how many of these folks would you expect. Like if I were to enter regionals, I'd probably if Marshmallow for sure, but then I would imagine other decks taking up more of those player choices than
I'd agree.
Maruki.
It's definitely an unpopular deck, even though it is still high powered.
I
Yeah,
don't think this deck you're ever going to see in a top 16 breakdown purely because there's not enough people playing the deck. So if you see one, it's probably going to be Marshmallow. But but it's not because the deck is not
or its
strong. It's
cousin.
just
Yeah.
because the representation is not there.
Mhm.
So that's why. But the deck is undeniably powerful.
Okay, it makes sense. We have Reboot Mon. It does a lot of the same things that Atratus does. It's got a blocker. Has it. It's immune. Uh, it's it does a lot of damage when it comes out. But it's missing what the Glowing Dawn deck has, and that's to just play a body and with rush and swing for game. It is a strong top end to a uh, highly customizable deck. Where do you guys put Reboot? It hasn't really performed. The best. So let me just before we talk about it more. Wiz at Eagle's Nest is the best Atmon player, period, and he might be the best Atmon player in North America. But one thing or another has led to him not finishing first place at Eagle's Nest with this deck, and it's not a comment on his skill. I think it's more so Reboot is just a little bit short of what the other decks have. Does does the best player playing Reboot Mon not winning at Eagle's Nest tell us that this is not an A tier deck, or does it is it just unlucky?
I mean, I think that the way that I think about reboot is the way I just think it's like half of B break basically. Like you end on a better Atratismon, and you have like more tools to support said Atratismon, but you don't have the Hapakiria line to go into. So any deck that beats Atratus also beats reboot basically, which is why reboot's playing like emergency program shutdown as a cope way of like trying to deal with Beelstar. And I feel like if you're having to resort to tech cards like that, untouchable tech cards in your deck, you're in a bad spot. But it's still an exceptionally high powered deck against pretty much anything that isn't Beelstar.
Yeah, anything that can't get rid of it like successfully, it's so strong. It's just a constant body that does forecheck and gains immunity back. Um, but I think what is also keeping it like not pushing through thresholds is Veilstar exists and it's strong decks, but it also, you know, has difficulty finishing out say the rest of the say 9 runs of the tournament without facing something that it's vulnerable to.
If we don't think that this deck could win a tournament, should we allow it to stay in high power? Just put it into locals viable?
Yeah, I think it should stay in high power. Like,
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
the issue with the deck is that, like, in the S tier, the two decks there both have ways to out reboot, and one of them is just reboot, but with extra things on it. But it's still a great deck by itself.
The issue with Rebootmon is it's very straightforward. You're not going to be surprised by this guy. Like he's their game plan is just produce reboot and protect the tower. And if you have an easy answer to him because you have option removal, then you don't really think about this deck. But the problem is even if you don't play option removal in your deck, sometimes you can just ignore him and still win, right? Because at the end
And
of the day, he can only
yeah.
block once. So if you produce like a wide enough board, or you have enough sticky bodies on board to like when he's swinging and suspending you down, if you have redirects, for example, or you have Digimon that play more Digimon when they would leave, sometimes you can just overwhelm a reboot board with just bodies, and he can't block them all, and then you just win. That's kind of like
Yeah.
I've seen the matchup with like TB, where like TB does not have an answer in the deck. Like if a reboot mon sticks on the board, the reboot mon is probably not gonna leave. Outside of a niche interaction where like you're able to swing with alliance and raid into it or something like that. So for the
Yeah,
most
the
part, they just go wide.
only response from TB is like just like you said, going wide. And the other thing I think with reboot is just representation. Like, how many reboot players do we really know?
Two.
And in the tournament, you just don't see much Atmon players. Um, for a long period of time. For every format, even now with the format where it's got its best boss monster, representation wise.
It's the best app deck they've ever made so far, and it's another thing with like Maruki, right? It's not that the deck is bad; it's just that the representation is not there to push it into having a viable chance of winning a regional. But I could totally see Reboot getting top 16. Like good players, if you have a good day, you
Getting a
dodge a
top
lot of Beal
4?
Star Mons. Top, I don't know if they're on fire and they have a really good day. They're drawing, making turn 2 Reboot Mons. Possibly, you know,
Okay.
they just need more things to go well for them
I feel like then it would be
in order to
it's a
make it
hard
happen.
decision between these two because I don't see this deck winning a regional, but I see it pub stomping.
Yeah,
I think if high power had like a scale, that it would be on the lower end of
it
high
would be at the
power.
bottom. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be at the bottom of high power. It's still a deck that like you need to
Mhm.
think about when you're building your deck. Like do you just take an auto loss to reboot Mon, or what is your game plan if you play against this deck?
Well,
It's
Medusa
something you just need
gets
to think
wrecked by
about.
it, but you don't see too much Medusa, you don't see too much reboot, so it's like not even a matchup that's that
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Right, next we have Shine Greymon. Shine Greymon's really, really popular in 8001, but haven't really seen it too much after the BT20 2025 came out. Like it started to phase out, even though they did get more support. And now with EX12, does this deck still win games?
I just think there's better options to play.
Dynamon exists.
You would think that that the secret rare in BT25 would push this deck to another level, but it doesn't really. Most pure Shine Gray decks that I've seen are only playing like one of him because Shine Gray Ruin Mode is still a better card,
Hmm.
and especially going into a more control centered format, uh, Shine Gray Ruin Mode is even better because Blanket DP minus allows you to clear a lot of these sticky boards.
Yeah, and um, I think it's tough here because that rude mode pressure is real. But then nowadays you have all those 6K level fours that if
Yeah.
one of them managed to at least survive, that level 4 is back up into level 6 that deletes and does stuff in response to your board. And Marshmallow peaked it earlier too. Dianamon, I think, takes um, it pushes a lower end spectrum of the players from playing this deck too. It makes it so challenging. But you have really great players like DigiSean doing really well with the deck. So I would say like it just um, requires
Specialist
like
required.
uptime mastery to place with this deck. But yeah,
Okay. Volcanus. It's a cool deck. It's a cool deck in concept. Um, I do feel like this is a pub stomp deck. Uh, People are topping tournaments with it, not winning at Eagle's Nest. If it has won a big tournament, I'm not aware. I think the deck is very, again, it's like Shine Gray, very
It's
straightforward, like
placed top
Reboot, very
16 at
straightforward,
multiple.
right? Does that mean that it's just shy of winning a tournament? And even now that we're in EX12, is that are those odds of it winning a tournament going to go up or going to go down?
I mean, there's no question that this is a high power deck. I know it's not low. It's not B tier. It places top 16 at too many large tournaments to be B tier.
Mhm.
It's just that it's not popular at Eagles. I don't think. I think the pilots that would enjoy this style of play just don't play at Eagles.
Well,
Um,
the problem is actually it was very popular at Eagles for a little bit,
Mhm.
especially
yeah.
when the set first came out. But this is around the time that I noticed that Passion was adding Dianamon to the deck, and that I was also just playing Dianamon Turbo basically .exe. And Dianamon also is a really good time against this deck in particular, just because of the way that I think the deck is now built with like no level fives typically.
yeah. Yeah, so
Uh,
maybe it's just been pushed out of the Eagles local
mhm.
scene because a lot of the players have adapted and played more Dianamons, but it's a pretty concentrated group of players. But what I've seen at least from the greater data across North America and Europe is that Volcanus is still getting there. You know, their whole game plan is put you to 3 and then they kill you from 3. It's very streamlined and it just does that. It plays tons of options, and yeah, it's not gonna surprise you. Their game plan is very straightforward. It's just, you know, do you have the tools to stop it?
Okay.
And if you don't, you'll lose.
Yeah. And it is the deck that still runs a lot of security bombs, so that also helps win matchups too. You know, just hitting into a tidal stream or an ignition flare or something like that, just ruin your day. Iron slash, end your momentum, and then next turn it's Volcanus, 3 checks, unsuspend, and end game sort of
Yeah.
thing. To yeah.
Okay.
It's also one of the decks that doesn't care about de-digivolve. A lot of decks have vulnerability to de-digivolve,
Hmm. And a lot of
but
decks have it
Volcanus is
teched
just
in.
not.
Like
Yeah,
Fails has it, Beat Break has it, this Shakuman does it directly. Uh, Reboot can do it, and so yeah, it's a common effect that's used to beat beat Digimon that have immunity on the level 6. You just de-digivolve it to a Digimon that's not immune anymore, and then this guy can't be de-digivolved because he's only got options underneath him. Well, linked to him, not even underneath him, right? So then
yeah.
we got the Bearmon to represent Marsmon and Calismon. My opinion on this deck is if you don't get out the Calismon early, you're not doing anything. And then even if you do get out the Calismon early, your opponent likely has a way to deal with it. They just have to have the pieces. So the odds are kind of hard, kind of low for this deck to have a good game. But if you do get the Callus out and they can't answer that, you just win the game on the spot because they didn't get rid of your level 6, and then next turn you're building another one. So where is a deck like this where it's so reliant on you getting out a specific level 6 and then your opponent not being able to answer that?
I think before EX12, it's absolutely high power. It's like Volcanus. It's gotten lots of regional results. Uh, Part of that might be because it's the cheapest deck in BT25 to build that is also powerful enough to
Cheap is
top
in budget,
regionals.
right?
Yeah, yeah, budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very inexpensive. I think it's the most inexpensive TS deck that you can play that is still, you know, powerful. Because it's TS, it benefits from all of the
Mhm.
synergy that the TS archetype provides.
As
But
far as performance goes, I've seen this deck do worse than both Reboot and Volcanus. I feel like if I was on the edge of putting those two decks into the locals viable, I have to put this one there.
But I would say, like, say before EX12 in BT25, it did have a good it could contend with Beelstar in some ways, where if they
yeah,
pint the Beelstar player, because there and within Beelstar too, some don't run de-digivolve, and most of the forms is deletion removal, and Callus kind of stops the Asunas from spawning the Black Gatos and or from evoing up, and then Callus with Fortitude, checking into on deletion stuff, triggers that. So it did have a good window into Beelstar. Not perfect, but if the player did well and angled it right, they can pin down Beelstar pretty well.
I think going into the EX12 meta specifically, though, all of the EX12 decks uh, can deal with the Marsmon, Calismon pretty effectively. And because they're designed to play a more grind style game, that's not the game that the Mars Calismon deck wants to play. They kind of want to be aggressive and put the pressure on and then end the game within like 4 turns or so. And a lot of the EX12 decks are designed to be more resilient than that, and they're not going to be removed by just a couple deletions here and there.
Okay. Marshmallow, haven't heard from you in a moment.
I mean,
Pick
yeah,
one of
there's not
these.
much to say about Bearmon, but we'll do TS. We'll just do the regular TS slot version. I like
You
that
wanna
deck a lot.
you wanna talk about this one? All right.
Yeah.
So I have Minervamon here to just remember to represent TS Slop. Where do you put it?
Probably put it in B tier.
B tier. So this deck was probably like A tier or S tier when it came out in BT24. It's gotten some support, but most of the best TS cards you could be playing that worked well with the deck were still BT24 cards. Why has the deck fallen off from BT24 S tier to B now?
I think the answer is pretty easy for me at least, which is I feel like as more TS support comes out, it feels like they synergize well with each other, but they synergize exceptionally with their little like small svelte engines that they come in. And so as like TS Lop is good, you can make use of all these powerful level sixes. Like if we just look at a couple of like the new ones, like you're never really running Sarismon in like TS Lop. You're never really running Bacchus in TS Lop. Volcanus can be run in TS Lop, but then you have to change up the list very drastically to like make room for him. Junomon, same thing. Jupiter, same thing. And I feel like as like support keeps coming out and stuff like that, we're seeing that TS Slop is not like the preferred way they want us to actually play the deck currently. That could change in the next upcoming set, but right now I just feel like why are you playing TS Slop when instead you could be playing something like Jupiter or something like Teapot TK or even Volcanus? I think is better than TS Slop right now.
Okay. Uh, does anybody feel like this is a underrated deck? No? Okay, we're all pretty
I
much in
think we've
agreement
gotten
then.
enough support for
Played in,
other archetypes to
yeah,
focus on them more than just playing a generic TS engine.
sure. So played in your locals, but don't expect it to win a regionals. Titamon, not a popular deck at all. Every time the deck gets support, there are a lot of people that try to make it work, and then they realize it's just not that good and they give up.
This is C tier deck for sure.
C tier, the deck keeps getting support though, and yet Bandai still needs to give it real support. Is that is that the sad
Yeah,
truth?
basically. Like the deck is exceptionally strong at like one thing, which is wiping your opponent's board and then killing them afterwards. And that sounds really good, but the problem is that you can't really kill your opponent quickly. It takes like around like 2 turns of like you having set up your board and doing stuff. And like yes, you
Yeah.
can do it from hand, which is cool. But you wipe your opponent's board and then you have like no defense on the crackback. And they've tried mitigating that by giving you some more like utility level fives that can actually like block or have like more devastating effects on your opponent's turn when they're played. It's just not enough yet. There's nothing I think that it does that the current top tier decks can't just ignore realistically.
I think it had its window to maybe see the best results in BT25, but EX12 really is not going to be a great format for it because you're looking at a lot of decks that are focused on having some form of effect that procs on your turn.
Yeah.
And because of the ordering of how Tidamon's deletions happen, it won't be able to cheat your opponent out from like getting an on delete that would play something and then you get to like snipe it before it gets its on play. So like when you delete them, like they're going to do their thing, and then they're going to get to resolve their when digivolving or their on play or whatever. And if that involves de-digivolve, well then your level 7 that you hard played just got de-digivolved,
Hmm.
and that's it. So
I felt like the deck had its best chance actually in BT24. I'll disagree with you on that. And whereas it did it did walk ahead in BT25, every other deck ran past it. So it where it was already behind, it fell behind even more, even with its support.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
the window of opportunity was when folks didn't really know what it did, kind of thing.
well, I think a lot of people still don't know what it does.
Well, and I mean, I feel like every time I play against it, I like they punch me really hard in the face, but they don't necessarily finish me, and I have breathing room to respond back, and then they're at low cards in hand to have few response back after the following. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I might have to see what support it gets in BT26,
If it does.
and if it doesn't, then yeah, it'll
All right.
be lost. It'll be that's it.
All
I
right.
Got to
mean,
give it up.
isn't just to add one more thought here, is
Sure.
it the level 7 Chrono on Titan? Am I
I
mis-
don't I don't think it's going to be designed to support the Titan stuff. I think
yeah,
Chronomon is going to be its own deck.
Okay.
Um, like its own deck that's like fully encapsulated in BT26, like Ex Machinamon, right? Like where they're going to print the entire line for the deck in
Yeah.
one set. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we already know based on spoilers that Chronomon has both of its level 6s already out, and they already spoiled the rookie. So I don't think Chronomon's going to do any Titan support.
Okay.
Yeah. It makes sense for the waiting room. One more set.
All right. Next, we have 3 decks that are DNA into a level 7. Uh, I thought Grace Nova was the coolest, and we had just come out of 81 where Bren was winning a regional with his DNA Alter S, and I thought, wow, a TS deck, like has so much great support and consistency. A TS deck with the DNA level 7, it has to be better than DNA Omni, but I soon came to realize, oh, you have to basically spend memory and give your for every Evo, and you have to pass over your opponent like so much. Uh, and then you don't even win the game on the spot when you do it. So it's like, is it really better than Omni, DNA Omni Alter S? And then lastly here we have Chaosmon, and now we have 2 good Chaosmons to go into, the Valder Arm and the Promo. And now that we also have dark the dark line with the Tank Dramon and stuff like that. Koopa will explain it better. Is there a new deck to take over the other 2 level 7 DNA decks that people weren't really playing too much of anymore? What do you guys think? Where do we want to put these 3 DNA level 7 decks?
I played a lot of Grace Nova. We're putting that in a solid C tier. Putting that in a solid C tier.
I think all 3 of you played it. What do you guys say about this deck?
Yeah, waiting room and see if BT26 gives it some love to kind of, give it that couple of last mileage that it needs, because it definitely needs something to balance its usage.
Yeah, it's too memory inefficient, which is crazy to say in a TS deck, but that's just how the cards were designed.
Yep.
It's not even too memory inefficient. In all honesty, the issue with the deck is the power just isn't there for what
You're
it
doing a whole lot,
gives
and
you.
yeah.
Yeah, like
And you get
the most
Digivolved one,
impactful
and you're
effect.
fed.
Yeah, exactly. The moment you get the Digivolve, you lose, and the most impactful thing is Diana, and you can just use Diana in other places. So yeah, it has
Yeah,
nothing special
the
for
best
it.
card in the deck gets utilized better in other decks,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I
which is
mean,
Diana. So
you get a nice, if your opponent doesn't necessarily have an out to you, Diana, DNA on their turn and bottom decking their thing and ending an attack, like you get that one time, free magic ticket as a reward for doing that setup. But then if they have other things to do after that, because you've given them like 8, 9, 10 memory, which they might, have the answer to do something to follow up, and yeah, and it just feels bad after that.
Yeah.
All right. We have Chaosmon, or aka Chaosmon Valder Arm. This deck is pretty cool. We have some new support come out with this deck. Kupo, you are the Chaosmon believer. Is it
no,
ever gonna top a
no,
regional?
it's no. It's still in the. It is literally in the support waiting room because we still don't have an XL tamer. Like you're still playing just straight up Digimon. You barely got enough in BT25, but you're still playing like generic memory boosts, like the dual memory
Mm,
boosts, and like treadmill training to try and assemble your line. I mean, if you get there, it is strong for sure. Like the Valder Arm, I think going into EX12 is even more powerful than it was in 25 because a lot of these EX12 decks
hmm
are focused on play effects. Now, like TB cannot play Susanomon on the turn that you hit him with Valder Arm. It's not going to do anything.
hmm
Uh, so it's it's something to consider, but it needs an Axel tamer. It needs something else. Really, it needs more Digimon that are better than the Falcomon and Diatrimon, like level 3 and level 4. Those are cards that like there's just not enough text on those cards for modern Digimon. So like you have the Tankdramon, like Commandramon support line that came out in BT25, and it's really good. And these cards have a lot of text on them, and you're meshing them in the same deck with with other cards like Diatrimon, which just says when Digivolving suspended Digimon, and that's it. So it's just
So
it
super
needs more.
imbalance of card quality.
Yeah, the card quality is crazy. You got cards
It
that are
varies.
2 out of 10, and then a card that's like an 8 out of 10, and they're in
Yeah.
the same deck.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
talking about like card variants, we have Omnimon Alter S, which has some of the best top end in the entire game, and it's supported by the jankiest rookies, tamers, and options possible. Like this deck is so crazy in volatility that you just need to survive the first few turns and get your pieces going, and then you're crushing the game. Is that bad early game good enough to make this a regional winner for the next? Like it did win a regionals in 81 format. BT25 kept quiet. Now we're in EX12. Is it going to do it again because of the new Omnimon that came out in EX? Well, not just the new Omnimon, there's also more Digimon for the Omnimon line, but maybe they're not going to be used. Who knows? But Bren built this deck at Eagle's Nest, came first place. The only new card he was running was a single Omni. He said he never Digivolved into it. So, I mean, that kind of tells me EX12 doesn't really impact the deck building, but where it fits in the meta, does that change? Does it go back
I'm
up
gonna
to A
be
tier?
so completely honest.
Yeah.
The deck doesn't need new Omnimons. I think every new Omnimon they print, I just don't understand what the point of it right now is, because the deck has, you're right, insane top end. Even the bottom end is good. I think the problem is just the core mechanic of the deck requires you to see so many cards for like a consistency scenario that it kind of leaves the deck lacking, I think, comparatively to more svelte lines like Beelstar and Beat Break.
I think
So,
it's a solid B. It's a solid locals. Like
Mhm.
you see your line, you win. I just don't think the consistency is there to last a 8-9 round tournament in EX12 format.
Mr.
I
Big
think
Passion?
one thing we would add is with the EX12 decks that since they're not as maybe fast as like Rampant Angels, that maybe yeah, Almi has that breathing room to, because once they get their pieces and they just their engine just ends the game. That does it have that place to top more often with that breathing room. That if I'm saying the meta slows down a bit in terms of turn exchanges, more time for Omni to set up their lethality.
Hmm. So maybe if the design of the game as a whole goes more the way EX12 has already shown us to start, this type of a deck will come back as a top tier deck again. But right now it's not really consistent enough to top a regional.
Because
I
one more
think
thing to add is like, say we did mention like Reboot and Stratus, right? Having
Mhm.
those immunity. Omni does have that immunity too, is that they don't necessarily have to get all the way up there. They can just get to that,
the
six and
Blitzcrank one.
five or six, yeah, that
Yeah.
immunity and just leave it there. And then, yeah, I think that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
gives them they're relevant.
Okay. Then we have Data Squad. You've got some mix of Shine Gray, Rosemon, and Mirage in your top end. Uh, is this deck? Does anybody play this deck? Anybody here play this deck?
Apparently, it's been cooking in China, but I have not seen it
In the
here in the West
Mhm.
at all. So
Do you
I don't
guys
know.
think
Hey,
it's ever gonna get like support from Bandai to become
oh, it
better,
Oh,
is.
like the Glowing
yes,
Dawn?
it's getting
It
so much support next
it,
set.
it,
Okay.
it's already confirmed. One of the UR's next set is a Rosemon burst mode,
Right,
Data
you're right
Squad.
about that. Yep.
Right, like it's gonna keep getting it. It's gonna get the rave. Like it hasn't received all of its all the guys. Like you already know the Rosemon, and it's gonna get a Ravemon and a Ravemon burst mode. That's also gonna be Data Squad.
Oh,
So
Wraithmon is such a cool Digimon too.
yeah, yeah. So it is, the support is not even close to being done with this deck.
Okay.
Um, so it is definitely there. And like I said, people in China have apparently been cooking with this deck, but it's not. It hasn't. It's not on the same level as like Beelstar. Like it's not getting as many tops as like those kinds of decks, but it is seeing a decent amount of representation there, and it's getting some success.
That's really
So
surprising. I thought this was just a deck that you felt bad because you're like, oh shit, I bought the wrong structure deck at the Walmart, and I'm losing because of that. Unfortunately.
I don't know. Believers are there. I don't see it in the West very much, but in China it's there. But you're gonna get more support guaranteed. Like we already know, the Rose Burst is really good, and
Mhm.
it's gonna get Rave and Rave Burst. So
Okay.
keep on holding on, I guess.
I'm gonna skip a little bit here and go to the Huddy deck. I know V Passion played Huddy for a little bit. Have you ever re-sleeved the deck and tried it out since the ban on Shakumon? And have you tried it recently?
Nope, no. It was just a fun project I was doing with the Huddy Magnamon X
Hmm.
um, for for comedy night.
So did this deck just get dumpstered with the restriction list and it's never ever gonna come back?
No, I would say it's
It
still
had some
strong.
decent minor success even after the
Yep.
ban list. I just think there's too many new toys to play with.
Does it belong
Yeah,
in C tier or D tier, Marshmallow?
I think it's honestly a B tier deck.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
Whoa.
Yeah, I
real.
agree.
Like I think it's
yeah,
better than most of the things in C tier. I
yeah. It
think
is.
if I
It
play
is for sure.
with Grace Nova, I'm losing to Huddy. I'm gonna be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah.
I
Yep.
feel very unfavored.
You're still dealing with one of the most efficient engines ever printed, and that engine, half of which is tamers that you just keep bouncing, right? Like you
Mhm.
bounce your tamers, you bounce your Digimon, your board is uninteractable.
And you're still
Uh,
a strong DNA deck. You've got Paildramon, you got new Shakamons, you've got Angelmons, you've got all these DNA targets that you can lean into now, and still a really strong, level 3, level 4, and a bunch of great tamers.
Yeah, the deck suffers
yeah,
from bandless itis, where once it gets hit, people just don't want to touch it anymore because it's like, well, it's not what it as strong as it used to be, so I don't really care for it as much,
Hmm.
which is
yeah,
fair.
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
It is strong. We just
next
don't
we
know
have
if it will get support anytime soon.
Red Hybrid. The new Aldemon, well, not new anymore, but the Aldemon is really good. Problem with the deck is once you've gone into Aldemon, you're just kind of hoping it dies because there's nothing else to do. The level sixes that people are most successful with do not even mention hybrid in their text. So where do we put the red hybrid deck right now?
I put it in B tier again as well. Like it's a fine deck. It's not bad. It does what Red Hybrid has always done. It's just there are better decks to kill your opponent with now, which is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Magnetic Dramon. One of the great decks to come out of the Liberator sets. Where do we put Magnetic with it? It has, remember, this deck has Pyramidimon, which has Tamer Control, which
Like
right
red,
now is not too
I
hot.
did want to say like for Red Hybrid,
Okay.
like Red Hybrid got third place at the Barcelona Regional last month in BT25 format. So
Hmm.
like it is there as a powerful deck. Uh, it's just
I don't think there's
I
any
think
Tamer Control in EX12 either, so it's not like the deck is becoming weaker. It's just, is it going to be popular? Is it going to be consistent?
yeah. I mean it depends. We're gonna have to wait and see. I mean they did get a Susanomon. I don't know if they're gonna play the
Oh,
Susanomon, but
that's a good point.
you can assembly with hybrids.
Yep.
The
Well,
issue is I don't think you're going to have enough. If you play Red Hybrid the current way that it's being built and played, I don't think it meets the assembly condition.
so what if
And
you play the red
uh,
hybrid, cut down on the level sixes that are not that great, and then make those slots Susano and Susanomon support, and then
I
all
don't
of a
know
sudden you
the
have,
Red Hybrid specialists are going to
Listen,
have to
they
sit
tried
there and
it.
cook.
No,
But
you don't have to even. You guys can just ask me. As someone who tried to make Susanomon OTK work for the entire ADO1 format, it does not matter that we have a new good Susanomon now. The only benefit that it has is that you can like get out the tamer and then go into it the turn of. The problem still stands of, oh, the old Susanomon option just doesn't work, and then the hybrid stuff, like you don't have any way of attacking end of turn, so you're just playing out Susanoo and passing, which is like a nice board wipe, but you're not really accomplishing anything. So no, it's still not good enough,
okay,
unfortunately.
all right.
it did get top four at a regional, so like it's going to stay in B tier.
Correct, yeah.
Next we have the rocks deck. Okay, so again, memory gain, Digivolve, deletion, uh, unsuspending and doing multiple checks, deleting your opponent's Digimon multiple times, deleting tamers. This deck can do so much. Uh, I think the problem with this deck is it's just a stack deck. It's a very good stack deck. Our regular stack deck's good enough right now. I mean, Medusa is all the way over here, right? So is this deck up with Medusa? I haven't seen too much representation. That's why I'm questioning this.
I've always been a Rocks hater, so
Like Rock's non-believer or Rock's you
yeah,
just don't like.
I don't think that Rocks has ever been like exceptionally good. I think people are like, oh, it's one of the best decks in the format. I always thought it was like an A tier deck, and now I think it's like a solid B tier deck. It's super simple. It's the same deck as like a Beat Break in my mind. It's a simple, like straightforward combo deck that just does one thing simply over and over and over again. And now Beat Break is just a better version of that. So if you want a deck that plays like Rocks, just play Beat Break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah, or Beelstar if you're a fan of that, removing your sources and having effects to either trash, unsuspend, so and so.
It's going to need a redesign in the deck building theory to play the mid game and the long game. I think the strategy of like stay and raising, produce an OTK is not good enough because it doesn't do it as efficiently. It also doesn't have rush. So in order for this deck to do anything, it's going to need someone to dedicate the time and thought toward redesigning it to play in a more control heavy format.
Well, I don't think the pieces exist to do that. It would have to be Bandai putting those cards on the table for us to use.
Yeah.
Then next we have puppets. So EX12 does have some puppet trait cards. They're not Liberator. It doesn't mean you can't use them. It just means they're not fully searchable. And then the second problem is the synergy is not uh, optimal, I would say, for the current puppets builds. I mean, they are some new pieces that you can use. Maybe I should have used a Kaguya artwork here. But I don't think it really elevates puppets. Do you guys feel like puppets is in a better spot after EX12 coming out, or worse spot than before, where it was not even really in the A tier, it's probably B tier? Do you feel like it's bumped back up?
I think it's in a worse spot, honestly.
The worst spot. Okay.
Yeah, and my reasoning for that is because of things like TB. I think cards like Crimson Blaze are better now, and with Crimson Blaze being better, that's worse for puppets.
That's very real. Yep, that's true. Okay, next we have Mastamon. We mentioned Digishan before. This was one of Digishan's best deck. Uh, but he's not even playing it, I think. He's playing Shine Gray. So is
Correct. Yeah.
Mastamon worse than Shine Gray? Or is it just uh, less popular than Shine Gray?
I also have a quick anecdote for this one. I think that it is a solid B tier deck that does like cold fusion, and I can't understand how it works. But if you're playing against me, it's an easy S tier deck. I think I have like a 10% win rate against this deck on any matchup I play. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just draw well and you assemble Mastamon, that Mastamon makes another Mastamon, and you just keep going.
Bro, they never stop, bro. Like they'll turn one, play out the 5-cost Mirai. I'll put them to one, and then they'll pass me to one with 2 Mastamon on board. I'm like, I don't know how we got here. I don't know what I could have done better. I'm so confused.
We have
It's not-
Crossheart, which is one of Kupo's closest and nearest and dearest to his heart decks. He actually is, in my opinion, one of the best Crossheart players. Where do you put Crossheart? Hasn't gotten any support since 81, but does it fit better into the meta now or worse? Where do you put it?
Nah, not really. The problem with Crossheart is it's just a little too fair and slow. You got to play your tamers. You got to with the meta slowing down, it actually is more ideal for Crossheart, right? Because Crossheart always struggled into early pressure. If your opponent pressures you super early and doesn't hit tamers in your security, well, you just feel like the game is doomed. But if the format is slowing down, maybe there's a opportunity to squeeze in there. Cross 6 is still very good, but -6 DP to the board for one turn, it used to be enough to be able to just do that and clear the field. But I don't think it's going to be good enough into a lot of the EX12 decks. And it really sucks against board-wide DP minus and D-Digivolve, which is it's very plentiful in this format, D-Digivolve and DP minus. So the type of removal that is going around everywhere is not ideal, and it's just a little too slow. So I think it's fine staying in C. It needs something a little bit better. But the Cross 6 and the Cross 7 that came out in 81 really did push the deck. I mean, it won some regionals, like it was very strong. But BT25 came out and it just pushed a lot more forward, and Crossheart didn't go anywhere, right? So it's waiting for the next generation, I guess, of cross support.
Speaking of, the meta shifting and Crimson Blaze being a better card, Sarismon has a even worse spot now than it used to because of that Crimson Blaze uprising. The deck does give you immunity to Digimon effects when your Digimon are suspended, and it does have the really great all turns effect that when a Digimon's suspended to minus DP for every one of your suspended Digimon. So some really powerful moves that it could pull off with that. But right now with TB, it's the whole thing is like, oh, you killed my Digimon, I don't even care, right? So this this whole strategy relies on you over investing into a stack and then not being able to use it. That and also it's very weak to Crimson Blaze. So I feel like this deck, where before it was tier C, it kind of even got worse. What do you guys think?
Well,
I have no problem putting it in D.
So the ideal like Ceres board is going to be suspended and immune, and TB can't deal with immune guys.
But they also
So,
don't lose to it.
but they don't. But they have a board of suspended immune guys that also have redirect, and they have the defense there. So they're not just going to lose to a Susanoo on board wipe because they're all immune. All their suspended Digimon are immune.
Well, the
So
offense
there's
of sorry to interrupt you, but the offense of the Sarismon deck is so bad. I've seen this deck out
yeah
or get close to decking out before they can win. Whereas TB is like, oh, you slipped up for one turn, I just win now. So I feel like if you're saying, oh, this deck can put up a wall against TB, it just means the TB is gonna win game one, and then they're gonna go to time on game two, and they're gonna win the set by default.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it has more play, but it's not quite there. But it is getting support in 26, like everything else. It's already been revealed on that sheet. There's a Sarismon dual card
And
Okay.
a
So,
Bacchusmon update as well.
and a Bacchusmon Daisui mode or Drunken mode. So
Yeah,
Does
drunken
that
mode.
mean it's not
we'll
Lost
have
and
to see.
Forgotten? It's waiting room?
It's
No,
getting
it's
it's
in
getting
waiting room.
support. It's
It
getting
is
some
in-
support.
Can't write
Yeah.
off any of the TS stuff yet.
Yeah, it is in the waiting room. It's still a TS deck at the end of the day, and we already have confirmed support. We just don't know what the words on the cards do. So, we'll have to see.
Okay. It's gonna say if you have 5 suspended Digimon, you win the game. It's just gonna say you win the
That honestly
Well, if that
would be
happens, then it's the
fine.
best deck in the game.
game. All right. Sakuyamon, the deck that Marshmallow played the most, surprisingly. Well, actually, since 2.0 came out, like which was sorry, BT. When was that?
21
18. No, 2.0 was 18, 19, right?
and 20. Yeah.
Okay, but 2.5 was 19 and 20, right?
2021.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2021.
No, 21
No,
was
as you were.
Heroes. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have
Oh, right.
Sakuyamon. Marshmallow, you're the aforementioned leader on this topic. Which tier would you like to start off with?
Probably B tier, I think, is fair for the deck. It came out at a really interesting time when Medusa came out, and the deck hard got destroyed by Medusa, unfortunately. And now D-Digivolve is a very prevalent thing in the game, and this deck also doesn't like D-Digivolve. It has like protections around everything that isn't D-Digivolve, and that's not ideal. But it does have the benefit of having a lot of option cards and option removal built into the kit, and then you can also play it with even more if you'd like to. So you have ways around things like Atratus and Reboot and Ceres and whatnot that I think is unique. But if that's something you care for, just play Beelstar. Just play Beelstar.
I think
Okay.
it's in the the waiting room. I just want to say that not because of power level or anything, but it's getting some new support in January, right? Did
I
they
believe so.
confirm some
Yes.
like starter deck or some sort of thing for it?
A second
Again?
starter deck has hit the building.
Two
Okay.
starter decks?
Okay. We have Galactic, which took Eagle's Nest by storm this week. I mean, it might have been 5 people playing the deck all of a sudden. They got the new option. It might have been Monday, actually, but they got the new option that became legal, I think. Where did that option come from? Was it a tournament pack card?
It's the updated tournament packs
Yeah, tournament
for
pack, they gave
locals.
them their emblem finally. Were people just playing this deck because they wanted to test out the option, or is that actually a strong deck now?
From what I've
It
seen in
also
some
was one of the decks that topped the Barcelona regionals. I think there were two or three Galactics in the top 16, and
and
this
it
is
also
before
had
they got
some
their emblem.
peculiar interaction with TB, it being like this immune wall that can redirect attack, block, and have some resiliency turn after turn. Um, Not sure who's favored or not, but it is still a sticky wall for um, with Digimon immunity.
Yep, and
If
multiple
that, yeah.
ways to stop attacks into security.
Yeah, and
Galactic has
Tamer
never been a
deletion,
deck.
we can't forget about
Oh
that.
my
Or
God,
early.
that's true. But the
Yeah,
Toho Braves doesn't use tamers yet.
No,
Yet.
no, I'm
that's
just
That's
saying,
true.
true.
like what it
But
has in
Beelstar
its tool
does.
sets.
Right.
Beelstar
Okay.
does,
Galactic
TS does.
actually potential here. Is it a high powered deck?
I
Is
put
it
an
gonna
A for sure.
Yeah, I think
what's
so.
stopping Galactic from going into meta defining?
I think that the cards, just the way it plays and everything around it, I think is a little bit rough. I think the reason it goes from like a B to an A with the emblem is because the emblem is just a searcher, right?
But
It
it
just
lets you
adds
evo for free
consistency. Oh,
too.
is this one the one that lets you evo for free instead? I can't
It's
remember. Is this a
I
two
think
cost or three
after
cost
you
one?
tuck, you get to play something.
We could bring it
It
up
could be
if
the
we
four.
forgot what it does
Yeah,
here.
let's bring it up. But I think you get to play like those 4 cost tamers as well, and then when any of those Venmons would be tucked into the thing, I think you get to evolve for
Ah,
free.
Yeah, yeah.
that makes sense
It's the
then.
classic 3 cost emblem.
Oh, so it's not the light
Okay,
novel emblem. It's
here it
the
is.
red.
It's the three
So
cost
it
emblem.
says main. You may play one Vemon or Zenith from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then place this card in the battle area. Your turn. When effects place Venmon as any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards delay, one of your Digimon with Venmon in its text may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Venmon in its text in the hand or trash with the cost reduced by 3.
Yeah, so you can recycle your Galactics from the trash. And the immune Galactic trashes itself, right? Or
I have
no?
that here also. Is that
No, it
the
doesn't.
EX11?
Yeah,
The
it
This
doesn't trash
this
itself. It
Digimon may
just
Digivolve into
exists.
no.
Galactic from hand or trash, ignoring Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost. So it's a free Evo into usually people go to BT21 Galactic, which sets the Ragnarok
The
canon.
yeah, they do that, and then they go into the EX11 one to gain immunity. And the
Well, this
EX11
this
one
uh
lets you
this galactic um can Evo
Evos
on
on the
another
Galactic.
galactic, yeah. So you
Yes,
go
so you
back
can
and
use
forth.
and you can use the emblem to Evo for 0 on your other Galactic.
Right, right. All right.
So
So
instead of, or not for 0, for 2, I think, right? Because
for
it's cost
reduced
minus
by
3.
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a strong deck and it got great support. I guess A tier is where it is. Like you're gonna see this deck up a lot in tournaments.
And
Uh
it's never been a fast deck.
uh-huh.
And with the format slowing down, I think it's actually a better format for Galactic. They also have D-Digivolve on a Tamer. So that is incredibly powerful.
We have now Mirage. I'm talking about pure Mirage, not data savers. I mean, you can still play the one of Mirage
It's data
that,
squad, just to clarify.
what did I say? Data savers?
Data savers.
My bad. Data squad,
That
yeah.
squad.
So we have Mirage here. Uh, you can still play the one of memory stealing Mirage, but I mean, I haven't seen anybody attempt to make this deck playable. Are people just, haters now, or is the deck actually that bad? And if it is that bad, how bad is it?
Like, it just doesn't do anything that's unique to it anymore. Like it used to be like a premium blue OTK deck, but every deck OTKs now. there's so many OTKs that I think are just provided. It's a C tier deck for me. We're getting the burst next set, so I don't know.
It's a deck that
First
had
short
a
bust.
niche. It did something very specific. It was the only deck in the game that like taxed your opponent when they tried to add cards, and then that was abused, and then it got hit. So
Mhm.
now it doesn't do anything better than any other deck. It's like every tool that it's using is just kind of it just is done better
Okay.
by something else.
Uh, V Passion, maybe the only person I know. Okay, Martin Lee also, but V Passion, the only person I know who could play Imperial better than me. What do you think about Imperial?
Um, waiting room for sure. You know, Vmon's beloved, Peldramon's beloved, and I think we'll just have to wait for a day
Mhm.
where Bandai updates it for it to be modernized. Um, it still sucks to play with it into Dianwon, which shuts
Mhm.
down the deck completely.
Mhm.
And
And Ruin Mode.
yeah, we still need that lower end.
Crimson
Get those
Blaze.
free tamers out. Um,
It needs the
yeah,
modern redesign treatment.
yeah.
You
Like
know,
if they were to juice this deck up with all the modern stuff, like how Beat Break has, like the E Pulse stuff like that, getting your
when
tamers out
moving
for free.
rookies.
Yeah, when moving rookies, then this deck, you know, with that unsuspend blanket, so and so, and a bunch of checks per turn, jamming. I think could contend for sure. It is a decode thing, but yeah. So just modernize it and wait, and then we can play.
Mhm. Okay, so do you feel like this version of the deck is dead, or are they like if do you think that we'll ever get a Imperial that's an upgrade, or is we gonna just get a different Imperial and all the cards that we used to use are gonna be sidelined and replaced with the new ones?
I think we're in waiting room.
Waiting room, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't see how it won't be a DNA deck just because it's like the
The
premier DNA
yeah, it's
movie
the
star.
quintessential DNA deck.
yeah, actually, you're right about that. It was the movie star in the most recent Digimon movie, so that's a good way to put it. Gallantmon, it used to be S tier when it was Gallantmon X. Slowly fell off, and even with the consistent support it got, it didn't really help. It just kept falling down. Where we put Gallantmon now?
I mean, it's
It's
another
in
deck that used to have like a niche that now there are so many decks that are just immune to Digimon effects that it doesn't really have that niche anymore. So I think it is just a C tier deck for me at this point in time.
it's a Royal Knight. It will never be
Yeah.
lost and forgotten. It is in
True.
EX13 waiting room.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, the speculation there is EX13 going to support individual Royal Knights, or is it going to be the
Yes,
and
it is.
Yeah,
okay,
it's confirmed for individual. Yep.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they said they're going to support every single Royal Knight in their own individual deck, but also have a cohesive Royal Knight 2.0 strategy.
Okay, that's interesting. I look forward to it. Uh, Velgermon or Purple Hybrid. Great deck. It's very fun, but never got support after the set it came out in, and I'm forgetting what set that was now. Maybe it was BT 18 or 19. I think it was a 2.0. So is a set with so little support after so long still playable? Is it ever gonna get an upgrade? I feel like it's not. I mean, this is the first deck I would put in Lost and Forgotten. What do you guys think?
I mean, Lost and Forgotten, I feel like implies like the deck is bad though, and I don't think this deck is bad still. It's like fine. It's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be winning any tournaments. But it's definitely like a locals deck. I think depending on like the strength of your locals, I think you could still win with it. It's a very oppressive deck from a time long past at this point though.
Do you feel like it actually
Yeah,
is B tier, or are you just
come on. It
being
cannot be
kind to
B
it?
tier. No way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
probably not B tier anymore. It's probably like a D tier deck. Yeah, but it's just there are decks in C tier that are just worse than it still, which is why it's tripping me up.
But those decks are literally getting support next set or in two
They're
sets from
waiting.
now, right?
I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Velgar is between C and D. Like he's on the verge of being forgotten if Bandai doesn't give him anything for the next couple of sets.
I mean, we already know like the next couple sets are not focused on hybrids. So this deck, considering this deck is basically not getting anything guaranteed until 2027, and
Oh
we're
yeah,
in
but
July
there.
26.
Sorry, I forgot to mention there is that weird Susano Turbo, the purple egg that they play Hanimans and a bunch of Velgars and stuff like that. There is that, but it's also not that great.
So even
Oh, they use the
Susanamon doesn't fix the
Velger.
deck.
Like if we're
They use
talking
the
about like
Velger to like turbo mill hybrids, and then you assemble with a bunch of hybrids.
yeah, but unfortunately, I
Yeah,
think none of the tamers have hybrid traits
they
because
don't.
Susano needs
Yeah,
hybrid trait cards,
correct.
and
Yeah.
so you
The
would speed
tamers
with the
and the options. The options don't have hybrid trait either. They're like 10
I will say
warriors.
this,
Yeah.
as someone who has tested out the Susanoo OZK, if the Tamers had hybrid trait, that deck becomes a high power
yeah,
deck
definitely,
immediately.
definitely.
Yeah. Because those inherits on those tamers are
Are
disgusting.
insane. They're so
But
good.
no.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they are not.
Vademon, if you're from the Digital
Just lost and
Monsters,
forgotten.
is that what the DM stands for, guys? What is it?
I
Digital
mean,
Monsters?
they got Digibass, but I don't know enough
Okay,
to speak on
they
behalf of the
did.
alien.
Nice, nice
I
from
don't
our
think
group was trying to push the deck again with the Digibass, but this level 5, if you're a deck that really needs your tamer and you're only really getting out one of them, you lose to this one card and it's a level 5, which is a stupid thing to happen. That's basically a free evo also. The thing is, DM did get support. The deck was not in a great spot to begin with, and the Digibass is one card, whereas all these other decks are getting much more cards than that.
It's just like
Uh,
a scramble, right?
Yeah, it's a 3-cost scramble, but the main effect is a trash one draw 2.
so
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
enough, bro.
is the DM deck playable in like a locals? Is it or is it just gonna need more support? Or
I
is that
think
it?
it's a
Is
D
this the
tier
end of
deck,
the line
bro.
for the deck?
I would not bring it to a locals and expect to win my locals. So
Did you say C tier, Marshmallow?
I said D
D
tier
tier?
deck.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think, Vipash and Kupo?
I mean, it hasn't been forgotten. They got Digi Seabass,
Hasn't been
but
forgotten,
it's
but they
not.
gave it one
It's
card instead of
yeah,
But
it's
like
I
not.
still
two
feel
or three.
lost.
It is lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
Very,
is
very
lost.
Okay.
lost.
Lost, but not forgotten.
Okay.
yeah.
Next we have the best friends forever, the two secret rares of EX11, Vortex and Ex Machinamon. Okay, Vortex Warriors, Kupo, you put the most hours into that. Got it. I mean, there is a Fogamon coming out, right? Or did it already come out?
A duel. No, there's a Duels
Yeah,
of
dude.
Haga that's coming out, and I think it's like September,
Okay. So
something
it,
like
it
that.
has to be bare
I don't think
minimum
it's.
waiting room. Where do you put it?
Yeah. It's probably still in the waiting room. Unfortunately, its primary strategy of Turbo Vortex doesn't work, and we've seen in Asia and some other places people have adapted Vortex Dramon to be this like go wide value green deck with the Daramon that came out in BT25, which is great. And it being an immune guy makes it so much stronger into the EX 12
12?
decks that don't deal with immune Digimon very well. But unfortunately, Beelstarmon's not going anywhere. And I don't know what the deck possibly does against Beelstarmon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it's going to be there.
And what do you
Yep.
think about the best friend forever Ex Machinamon? It did get the emblem not too long ago.
Yeah, it's just not there. The
No.
speed's not there. And a lot of these higher tier decks
Yeah.
have so much removal,
Right?
even with Ex Machina being 21k. If you're not on specifically red based deletion, you're just gonna delete it so many times that then it dies, and it takes
So
too many turns to get its guy going anyway.
so this is from my perspective. As a Medusa player, I feel like the Ex Machinamon deck is B tier. But you're saying that I have a bias because I'm a red player and that's the worst matchup. Uh, is this deck, first of all, is this deck ever gonna get support again? I don't think it will. But if it, and is it,
Not anytime soon until they do like another whole round of like Liberator support maybe.
no, okay.
But I doubt it.
Is
So
it,
I think Ex Machina is gonna go into the Lost and Forgotten.
wow. Okay, and we
Yeah.
actually thought this deck was hype originally, too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck is just not it, unfortunately. The it has a similar problem that I think a lot of the new Galaxy stuff has, which is I think the level 4s and 5s just aren't very good.
Yeah.
No.
They don't do
Yeah.
much of
This-
anything.
This deck, maybe it doesn't make sense, but it reminds me of a weaker Galactic. Like I might as well play Galactic if I wanted this ultra tall immune body oppressive thing, but I think Galactic just has the damage and control output, etc., etc.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, that's a good point, Passion.
You don't even feel safe. Like even if you assemble the full Ex Machina, you don't even feel safe anymore. Digimon
Yeah.
the Digimon hit so large numbers with Raid, with Alliance, and it's not immune either. So like the TB deck, for example, they don't change their game plan at all. They well maybe it depends on the interaction because if they're not able to chip down their link sources when they go to do the end of turn execute thing, uh, they might not be able to fully remove it because Ex Machina will get the chance to bottom deck it. So I don't know. It doesn't
It's
too much
okay.
removal in
It's
the
it's
current
a
format.
I know it's a sad story, but we have to let it go. Adventure. So we're thinking about adventure with like Omni top end, with the adventure Omni top end. This deck used to be really good, but and really interestingly, uh, the week before 81 came out, the adventure deck won at Eagles without any 81 cards, and then when 81 came out, it didn't top anymore. I think this deck could surprise people. People forget how fast it can be. But getting into that level 7 is a bit tricky and takes some, either a lot of preparation or just luck that your opponent didn't interact with you the correct way. I feel like Adventure will get some more support. So I would say minimum waiting room. But what do you guys think? Is it like a not too well known powerful deck, or is it just C tier?
It's C tier. Like I think Omnimon will forever be in C tier. Any Omnimon top end will just always be a C tier deck as it continuously gets support until eventually they become an S tier deck, similar like what happened with Numemon from the copious amount of support they're getting. Like the deck is good, the top end is insane. It's just it suffers from the same thing that most DNA decks suffer from, which is you need to find at least 2 6s and then your 7, and then you need to get both your 6s on board somehow, either by hard playing them with some of the variants or by evolving a whole separate line and then like hard playing another, and then you have your tamer set up or some way of like DNAing at the end of turn, and it's just so much work to do something that I feel like other decks just do for so much cheaper.
Well, we have the regular DNA Omni deck now that will play things like Gabumon, Nokia, your level, the regular Wargray, regular Metal Garurumon, and DNA into Omni. Your choice of Omnimon or Omnimon Ultra S or whatever. Uh, I think this is uh, I don't know if this is better than the Ping Pong Omni. Last time we didn't think it was. Last time we thought Ping Pong was Omni was better.
Yeah.
Is it still better? Because I honestly haven't seen people play this deck at all, and
I
people have
think
played ping pong.
this Nokia version that is specifically from warping Algu into Wargrade just feels like a fair version of the Omni Ping Pong. Because the Omni Ping Pong just feels way more
Well, the sixes are way
like
better. The
6 is way
Blitzcrank
better.
and the Crescent
Yeah,
Brew are way better than the
your
sixes with
chances
this
of
deck.
keeping turn is way higher and is just way more scary, you know, being able to end game after just going through one rotation of it
Yep, more effects
versus
because you
Nokia.
get the
Yeah,
inherits. You got more effects on your final stack. You got immunity.
yeah.
You
Immunity, stunts, and tamers along the way,
better
de-evo
searching.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Nokia is, yep,
But this is
way
also an
worse.
Omnimon deck that Bandai knows for the sake of the fans, they're always gonna
Yeah.
do something
They're
for.
always going to come back to Tai. They're always going to come back to Nokia.
Okay. We got Lucimon, um,
C
Kupo.
tier. Move on.
Wait, I didn't hear you clearly. D tier?
C
Oh, C
tier. Move
tier.
on.
Okay. C tier, move
Is
on.
there support coming from Lucimon? I guess there is
Yeah.
the new Demon Lord
There
stuff.
will be,
EX
yeah. There will be.
EX14. So just like Royal Knights are getting support in 13, all the Demon Lords are getting support in EX14.
Be
So
patient, so it benefits the patient.
all of the individual demon lords, and then I think there's going to be a, just like Royal Knights has Royal Knights 2.0, there's going to be a Demon Lords 2.0
Hmm.
deck. So just wait for
Okay.
that.
So EX12 gave us Metal Empire, but this is to represent more traditional Machine German where you dump your level 5s in trash and then you play out your machine for a reduced cost. So where do we put this type of deck? I'm just putting it on the list because it was on the list last time, but maybe in the future some of these unplayed decks are going to be removed in our tier lists because they're just updated now. But where do we put old Machine German?
This is like the level 5 cyborg spam.
Yeah,
Nah. I think with the release of Metal Empire,
we're never going to go back to this type of machine.
yeah, I don't see a reason to play a bunch of level 5s that you
Okay,
can just brick with,
all right.
Like
relying on
it'll
analog
always
man
get
hammer.
quotation support in the form of cyborgs, but I don't think it changes how the deck operates or how it assembles itself.
It doesn't
Um,
improve the speed of the deck at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing. All you're getting
It's
is
still
new
the same.
toolbox.
The
Yeah,
deck already
same
has an
formula.
OTK out of EX
Yeah,
10, I think it was with DM.
yeah,
So like it doesn't need any more level 5s. It just needs to
yeah.
get
I
that
think.
OTK sooner.
Yep. Yeah, ME is just gonna for sure feels a lot more prevalent.
Okay. V Passion, you are Jesmon King. Please tell us that you have a secret build and you're going to surprise everybody with it in S tier.
Yep. Tomorrow I'm playing Jesmon. Just kidding.
So,
Um, waiting room as well. Excited just to see
it's a
what
real
the
night.
EX13 does for Jesmon. It's a real night. Yeah, and there's going to be Genku. There's going to be Jess. So yeah.
Okay. Kupo, the Beelstar guy. Again, are we gonna say, oh, wait until
Beelzemon.
EX14? Oh, Beelzemon.
Yeah,
Well, technically also Beelstar, but my mistake on the name. We waiting for EX14, or is this deck playable
yeah,
right now?
yeah. Right now, like the whole strategy of like Impmon Rush doing the cute like blast Evo on an Impmon was cool, but too much removal and playing aces in 2026 that don't have protection is you might as well scoop it up. So we'll see. We'll see what the new Beelzemon in EX14 does.
That would actually be a pretty interesting idea if they started to give Impmons protection. Like maybe a security spell or a field spell, some sort of thing. Where it's like if you give all of your Vmons guard. I don't know if that can only be like a black base effect, but that would be interesting. It's like, oh, you try to delete one, I can
So
sacrifice something.
far, guard has been relegated to black.
What
I
if
think
it was
that's
like
a black keyword.
a new effect that's like by trashing cards from the top of my deck, I save my Digimon.
Well, now we're talking. That's what we
That
mean.
would be a
That's what we
disgusting
mean.
effect.
That's what we mean by needs Beelzemon 2.0,
Yeah.
maybe EX14.
Okay. V Passion, we have Cool Boy here to represent Royal Knights. Personally, I'll say that this deck is done. Bandai is done with the deck. What do you think?
Not yet.
No?
Waiting room. Waiting room until they go through all the Royal Knight
Yeah.
releases, which is what there's going to be 3 sets of Royal Knights, right?
Hmm. But
Yeah.
do you think
Or
that it's going to be supporting this type of Royal Knight deck, like with
No,
Kingdrasil and both tucking?
we already know it's not. It's not gonna. Well, so the Royal Knights, by having the Royal Knight trait, will naturally be able to be played here, but it's not gonna
They're going to
be
need to have on
intentionally
plays,
designed for
otherwise they're not
this.
useful, right? Like
Yeah.
either they're going to have on plays or your turn slash all turn when a Royal Knight blah 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 is played to see itself being played. So if it doesn't have either of those, then they're all dead. Like there's a lot of Gallant Mons that are Royal Knights that don't do anything in the Royal Knight deck.
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe one glimmer of hope is a cool boy that's coming in one of the sets, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave it in C tier out of respect for the number one global player. Uh, and then
There's gonna be a cool boy. So like that means there's cool boy Royal Knights, and then there's gonna be a Kingdrasil Royal Knights, because we already know that in EX13 they're gonna print, just like Homeros is a 5 cost tamer, Kunlun is a 5 cost tamer that we still don't know.
Mhm,
There's gonna be probably a
Yeah.
5 cost Kingdrasil tamer,
mhm.
and that's going to
And
support the 2.0 Royal Knights.
Who is
one
like
more
a
So
hope,
it's gonna be
character now
difficult.
because of Time Stranger, right?
and one more
Yeah.
copium is all the Liberators. I think got their emblem by now. Right? Galactic just got theirs, so
Yeah.
like years later, I guess. And maybe Royal Knights Liberator will get an
No.
emblem. We don't know. So
Eh,
I don't think it's over yet. Not lost and forgotten yet, but it could be. But we'll wait. We'll wait until they go through the phases.
Okay. Uh, Marshmallow, do you have an opinion on Virus Imperial?
Yeah, it's bad. That's my opinion on it.
Is it bad like give forgotten or eventually it's
It's
Imperial, so
bad
why
and
not?
forgotten for
Yeah.
sure. It's
All right.
bad and forgotten, unfortunately.
All right.
Like the last time I got support was the back when Liberator was just getting announced stuff.
Hmm.
It was like really early on, and the support was insane. It was really good for the deck. And now that we are
It was actually insane.
so far past that point,
Yeah.
uh, regular Imperial makes better use of the purple red fighter mode than the Virus Imperial deck does at this point.
Yeah. Apocalypse, I mean, don't get this mistaken with Galacticmon that puts Apocalypse in the top end. And we're talking about real Apocalypse here. Uh, Marshmallow again, this is your deck.
Another me deck. Okay, all right, great. You're just giving me garbage decks to talk about here. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, this deck is not good right now. There was a weird point where Huddy kind of existed. That the Dark Masters deck got their promo Waru Monzemon, and there was like this weird like tax tamer with Kari and Kennen and maybe some Digimon Emperor or
Keaton.
Hakuto and stuff.
Keaton
Yeah,
Crier.
whatever. All right, that guy right there, and it was
Kenny's from South
fantastic
Park.
and beautiful. It was that beautiful, beautiful deck that then within the next week was killed horribly because Medusa was such a strong counter to everything that the new Dark Masters want to accomplish. But that's okay because
Free
I have it
wins.
on good. Yeah, I have it on good news. I have it on good news. Mr. Bandai himself has called me up and told me that they're gonna give us 5 new promos next set, so we can put this in C tier for sure. Okay, we don't have to worry about it. They're gonna fix the deck fully.
Okay, I will not do that, but thanks for your
Okay, all right,
information.
cool.
You said good news, not good authority.
Yeah, good news. Not good
I have it
authority.
on no authority, but the voices in my head told me that we're getting support.
It's great news though. Don't get me wrong. The news is fantastic.
Heavy Metal Dramon. It's a really cool deck. It's the only deck of its kind where you don't want to have cards in your hand. Where I feel like this deck could get support just because of the
It's
ingenuity of
getting
the
a
card
dual.
design. Yeah,
It is
so
getting a
what do you think
dual
here?
Yeah.
heavy. It's getting a dual level 6, just like the Zafaga is, and the dual heavy metal Dramon is crazy good. But I mean, its core idea of I play the game with 4 cards in my hand and just use trash main effects uh, to play, and I have an ace that doesn't have protection. It's it's not really there. Currently in the format of mid game grind control, that's like the worst environment for heavy metal Dramon. It does not want to play into sticky boards that can play on their turn because it has no way to like stop those effects from going off, and
Hmm.
so it's just going to eat every counter timing effect, every sort of like, oh, when I would leave, I play something out that gets an on play that removes my guy. All right, like
Okay.
it's just not quite there. And playing the game with 4 cards in hand, Digimon's just not that game. That's
Right.
just it's fundamentally how the game is designed. It's just not that kind of game. So I think it needs like a redesign, which I don't think will happen. So it's either at the bottom of C or it might even be lost and forgotten.
Really, you don't think that the support in the future is going to help it at all?
It's just 1 card.
Okay.
That's the like it's
I,
just
I
one
will
card. So
I will argue a little bit against this. I will agree. I feel like every new card that comes out for heavy metal, it is like insanely strong. I think it just suffers from all of the level 6s in the deck. Literally read win the game if you can do anything else. Uh I think they just need better bottom end, in all honesty. Like I look at all the level 3s and 4s, and I always feel like they're very lackluster in comparison to like the level 6s that just give rush to your whole board, Evo at the end of turn, perform cold fusion and kill your opponent. and I think that the new dual card, it does not solve any of the issues that I just mentioned. But if we get one more really strong level 6,
Just one
surely the
more.
deck will be
Just
good.
one
Just one
more.
more really strong level 6 will be fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it like
Heavy
waiting
metal.
room for bottom end, or is it actually
Uh,
is Bandai bad at supporting decks?
Bandai's really bad at supporting this deck in
This
particular.
This
deck,
deck in
yeah.
particular. Okay.
It's
Uh,
because it's game design of I need to play the game with only 4 cards in my hand. It's just too
it,
hard to design and also make it balanced because
yeah.
they could totally just not make it balanced and print a whole bunch of trash main effects that let you play stuff for free from the trash, Evo for free from the trash. I mean, the Megidra already Evos for free, right? Like they just need more effects like that, effects that play for like real cheap.
Hmm.
And but then how do you make that balance? It's
So
just
okay,
not.
let's
It's
go to
too hard.
Examon. It's another level 7 DNA deck. Level 7 DNAs tend to be very difficult to balance, I guess, in the game because a level 7 should be the strongest Digimon in play, but at the same time, if the whole deck is going into the level 7 too easily, it shouldn't be that much stronger than a level 6. So it's a really weird balance place for Bandai, I guess. Examon is hard to build and also hard to pilot. Kupo, where do you put Examon?
It's in waiting room.
It's in waiting room,
Right
so you
now,
believe
right now,
you have hope?
Examon. Right now, Examon is a worse version of Chaosmon
Yeah.
because the game plan is almost identical, but Chaosmon's immune to everything, and
Chaosmon has more
Examon,
immunity. It's also easier to recur it.
yeah, and Examon gets de-digivolved once, and then you lose.
Yeah, and also you have an ace. One of the best cards in the deck is an ace, which is a bad decision if you're
It
not winning
it
that
it,
turn.
the reason why I say it needs more support is because the new well, I guess you're using the Ace artwork just because it's the nicest one, but
Hmm.
the best Examon is the BT23 Examon.
Is that the X
That has
antibody?
no, it has decode. It's
Okay.
the one that locks down everything. It has decode, does 2 checks. It's really strong, but the problem is you have you only have 2 level 5s, like modern level 5s,
Hmm.
one of which are not treated as their respective level 6s on the opponent's turn. So
Hmm.
like the newest ones are that's all turns they're treated as level 6s for DNA,
Hmm.
but the other ones aren't. It's only your turn, which
Okay.
means even if you decode them, you can't ace on top. Like or you can't ace with them.
Wow.
So it's like that's why I'm saying like it needs more support. It needs a second set of modern level 5s that are treated as their respective 6s on the opponent's turn,
Hmm.
because then you actually can play 8 or 9 of them, and then the Examon actually has a real game plan where you can decode out the 5s and then actually threaten a blast DNA.
So it would feel kind
But
of more like Mastamon, where you can
yeah,
really easily get out the level 5s and they go into Mastamon. Whereas your deck
yeah,
wants to get out level 5s and then skip to level 6, go into Exmon. Well, have
yeah.
the choice to
Except
skip level 6.
except
Depends on the build style.
except half your level 5s don't let you skip the 6.
Okay.
So it's just yeah, it's conflicting with itself too much, and so it needs its own support, which it will get in EX4 or
Right.
13. So
Diaboromon, one of the original villains of Digimon. I mean, we're never gonna forget the classics, right? Is Diaboromon is an okay deck. It has a rush strat. It has an OTK strat. It does interact with your opponent during their turn. So, I mean, this deck is, I would say it's okay. It's actually locals viable. But what do you guys think about Diaboromon? Hasn't gotten any recent support, but it's still decent.
when did it get the Caramon X? Was that 20? Was that 11?
Can you
It was
check that?
prior to the last nationals. I just don't remember when that was.
I'll try. I'll pull it up on a different screen.
I thought it was earlier. Like it got support recently. I
The
thought
Caramon X antibody
Yeah,
is BT24.
24.
and
Yeah,
and
24.
and Diaboro X antibody too.
Yeah, so it recently, well, relatively recently, got support. Uh,
Okay.
but I think it's not the shiny new toy. It doesn't have the
I,
Yeah.
base
it feels
that
like it's on a similar level to these decks, though. I mean, it's not. It beats a lot of these decks. It's got the speed. It's got the control, okay? But
Yeah.
it also has
Mm.
big glaring weaknesses. If your opponent can shut off summoning by effect, then you're done.
The Diaboromon X is also quite good. Like it's a modern thing. It has all turns when any of your Diaboromon would leave, play a Diaboromon.
Hmm.
Right? Like so, and
Okay,
Diaboromons on their own are very strong. It has overclock, right? Like it has modern stuff. I think we just it's a representation issue with the
yeah,
deck.
it's just
You know?
it's nobody's playing it, but it is playable.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Like it.
Creepymon. Yeah, go ahead. Was you wanted to say something else?
No, it's
Okay.
just like the line of text of all turns when any of your Digimon would leave, any of your Digimon with Diaboromon would leave, right?
Hmm.
Like this line of text is something that like defines the current format, right? Like
Okay.
a lot of stuff is like, oh, when I would leave or when one of my guys would leave, play a guy, right? Like that's kind of where we're at in Digimon right now, and Diaboro X says that. So it is a modernized deck. It just needs representation. Overclock is good.
All right, Creepymon is probably the best mill deck in the game. You have a two-sided coin where on one end you're trying to kill your opponent by getting rid of all their security, and on the other end, if that doesn't work, you can always win by mill. Uh, is I don't know if Creepymon. Well, I mean there is the EX14, but is Creepymon like a playable deck today? Is it is it waiting for new cards? Is it like as good as Bears or Sakuyamon, or not really,
I,
and it's just waiting for support?
I think of all the individual demon lords, Creepymon is the most playable
Even more
on its
so
own.
than you think, well, okay, current. Uh,
Current, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Of the seven individual demon lord decks that exist, I think
Mhm.
Creepymon is the best one. And we're going into a format that is slower, which Creepymon kind of likes because
But
it
also
can deck
they
out
like
a
to
lot of
put
stuff.
cards in their own trash and you're helping them.
Yeah, so I'm hesitant
I would
to see
say
how viable it would be.
I would say whereas the deck's power in a vacuum is pretty good, it fits really badly into the meta.
Yeah, yeah.
I would even
Waiting
say the
room
deck's
for
power is
someone to
that
do
good, to be
something.
fair. Yeah, I think it needs some more support. Like, it doesn't do anything super crazy. Like, yes, it's like the only viable mill deck, but even when it came out, it wasn't that amazing. It was like a B tier deck when it came out, and I think now that we've passed so much further along the lines, it's like a C tier deck for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I know V Passion has worked on the Ogudamon or Seven Great Demon Lords deck. Have you guys, Kupo and
I
Marshmallow,
did
have you
as
guys
well.
also played this?
Yeah, I've played
Uh,
Demon Lords
I've
too.
I spent I probably most of my time playing Digimon when this deck came out playing against it. I've
Me
played
too,
so
playing against it.
much against SRO.
Yeah, I
So
played a lot against this deck. It was always an easy matchup for me. I don't think that means the deck is bad. It's just that I played the right decks at the time. But what do you guys think about Seven Great Demon Lords today? And
No,
no?
no.
Okay, what
no,
about
it's in waiting room.
it's in
It's
waiting
Yeah,
in
it's
waiting
room?
room, and it potentially will go into Lost and Forgotten because Bandai is gonna do Demon Lords 2.0. But I don't know if they're gonna do it the same way that they're gonna do it with Royal Knights because I think the announcement, or at least on the
Hmm.
artwork, I don't think it was Ogudo. It may have been Ogudamon X. So we'll
Well,
see what they do with the
I think
support in EX14.
the Seven Great Demon Lords don't really need to have um on plays as long as they also have an on deletion. So I think there's more like space to put the EX14 Seven Great Demon Lords into the classic like Ogudamon deck, compared to what we might see with Royal Knights and putting those into the classic Royal Knights deck. So I think I would be a little bit more hopeful for Seven Great Demon Lords to make a comeback than I would for Royal Knights if we're talking about like the current build um, philosophy.
We'll see. It's an EX14 waiting room.
Okay.
yeah.
Millenniumon, V Passion, this deck is, well, it used to be the bane of your existence. Do you still care about this deck?
Um, maybe just representation. I don't I don't know how it fares into other decks. Like Doesn't Medusa have a good matchup against it?
Medusa has a favorable match. I wouldn't say it's like an auto win, but it is
And
advantaged.
and then Volcanus has a good matchup into it. That's what I hear from
Hmm.
my local Millennium players that
Well, it's
they
not
dislike.
de-digivolvable.
It's does not digivolve, and they run all those bottom deck options or
Hmm.
blue options.
A couple of them. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not a high number
yeah.
of them though. But yeah. So it's you're saying a few decks up here wall this guy out. But is it still A tier power even with, or is it like it hasn't lost its placement?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hard to say.
Personally, yeah, I treat it similar to like Reboot Mon, where if I'm playing Jupiter in
We got
that
reboot
realm,
here.
that is just like I'm not gonna tech heavy for him. It's
Hmm.
just like that one guy I need to avoid
It's one
kind
guy.
of situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a deck that a few people have and even fewer people play. So,
yeah.
what do you guys think, Marshmallow and Kupo? Are you guys gonna see this deck at a regional, or are you only ever gonna see it at a locals?
You can definitely see it at a
It,
regional.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
a
it has
don't know if
specialist.
several
it's
showings.
It's a specialist deck for sure.
Okay,
yeah,
we'll
like
put in the.
you
Like,
can get
Well, tell me
child
what
on
that means,
very
Kupo.
easily.
It is high power.
It
It
is
is
high
for
power.
sure a high power deck. It's just it suffers from the representation issue. Like
Yeah.
it is not an easy. It's probably the most complicated deck to pilot correctly. Um, and the mileage
Well, that's an
you get
advantage though. If
will vary.
nobody's expecting Millennium
yeah.
on, and it can beat a few of these decks pretty
But
easily.
also,
Yeah.
I would say, doesn't TB have
Time.
a good matchup against it too? Like minus 15, 18K to the board.
It, I don't know.
And
Well,
then and
if they
and
chain their effects and they get out a Zed Millennium, Zed is unaffected, right?
but Z is a very fewer number than what you would most likely see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I still
Like
don't
it's
even know if that like saves them. So
Okay.
not sure.
We'll have to ask Tessero what he thinks, and maybe he'll comment on the video for Lucky.
yeah.
Uh,
I would say B then
B?
versus A.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks. I'll put it in B then.
Yeah.
Since we're just so
Not
unsure,
enough data.
yeah, we're just too unsure. We're all a little bit lacking on data. Royal Base, there's a like as bad as this deck performs, there's a crazy number of supporters for it. Like every time a new set comes out, people are like, maybe Royal Base will be good again, and they play the deck in the tournament, and they
To
are
be fair,
unhappy with the results.
it's a sick deck. It's a
Yeah,
very cool deck. No one loves building up a little base more than me. Okay, you build up your little home, but
yeah,
it's a C tier deck.
yeah.
And honestly, it might be a D tier deck at this point.
Yeah. Well, they love it's. Who knew that a black green deck would get more security out than ever than a yellow deck, right? Or even
Yeah.
Lucimon. Like Lucimon's the other deck that can get out a lot of security, but this deck is just every turn you're adding more cards and it just doesn't stop. And then they deck themselves out, or the opponent is playing some crazy deck where they just get through it all anyways. So, I mean, I think this deck really badly needs support more than like it's weird how new the deck is, but also how underpowered it is. Do you think Bandai just doesn't know how to build the deck, like, or it's coming? It's coming soon. You just have to wait. What do you guys think?
It's D tier.
something I'll never understand is the strength of the fandom of the Bees deck. Like maybe I've not seen the anime or so, but I've met so many people that they're so in love with the deck, and
Well, there is no anime.
There's no
It's
B
the web.
specific. There's
It's
no B specific anime.
so
I
and
promise
and
you.
it's not in the comic either because it's
yeah,
it's the whatever it's the web novel or light novel, and
yeah.
I didn't read that one, so I have no
Same.
idea.
I just want to understand like where this immense love
You see, in
came.
the hybrid season, Fan Beamon made an appearance at the same time as the water hybrid spirit, and that's the only time I remember it seeing any actual representation in the anime. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I have no clue.
no.
I think it's still sick too, though. I think it's a sick deck, so I can't say too much about it. I guess.
All right. We're finally done with all the old decks, and now we can start talking about the new decks. Okay, so, uh,
Put a timestamp. Put a
yeah,
timestamp here if people just want to see
Greymon,
the PX12 stuff.
Greymon.deck got a little bit of support. Woohoo.
Oh, is that what
Uh,
that is? Oh,
yeah,
that's
like
lost and forgotten.
this Greymon is a not in the it's not in the EX12 set. This is a different Greymon. But you know, it's to represent Greymon dot deck. So is Greymon gonna like run around? I think I've played the most Greymon here. I'll tell you guys that Bandai will never again make a Greymon tribal deck that is uh regionals competitive. They might make one that's I think you can right now play the deck at your locals and that's it. That's like the highest you're gonna get with a Greymon deck. And even at your locals, you are gonna run into people playing Beelstar and Atratus, and you're never ever gonna beat them. So should you play Greymon? Only if you set like playground rules and say no best decks allowed, then yeah, you could play this deck. Honestly, I don't think putting it in the waiting room makes sense because Greymon always gets support
It's
and it's
lost.
never good.
It is
So
lost and
it's like
forgotten.
by definition, yeah, it's like Bandai wants this deck to fail. Do not play it if you're a competitive player.
It doesn't. It
Bandai
doesn't. The
wants
thing
this deck
is,
to
the
fail.
thing is, Greymon. When was the last time Greymon specifically got support for Greymon and not as a piece of
Omnimon
support
piece.
for an Omnimon deck, right? Like that's the thing.
BT14, this set
I
it
think it
did
was
get
BT14.
well, this set it got a Greymon, right? But it's not good in the Greymon deck. And
That's what I mean. Like, when was the last time they printed a bit of Greymon
yeah.
support that was actually designed for Greymon and not for something
It
else?
like honestly, like the Greymon in BT14 was really bad. It's a zero of in every Greymon deck. In what was before that? BT11 was okay. BT12 was the raid, so that was the best one. The with the raid Wargrey. That was the one that could play a tie out if you don't have one already. Um, and that was pretty decent. And that's it. Like after that, they never made a good Greymon.
I mean, if there was ever a time to try Tribal Greymon, this is the best Greymon support that you can get in this set because you got a Greymon that recurs cards from trash, you got a Metal Gray that has Decode and a Decode Inherit, and you got a
Decode is
War Greymon that
awesome.
has and you have a War Greymon that also has Decode. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, your War Greymon would leave, you get to decode out a level 4 and a level 5. So
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, this is the
my
best it's gonna get.
problem with the deck is like we don't need another level 5 or level 6. We have enough good level 5s and 6s. We need a good tamer and we need good level 4 and a good level 3 would be decent. Nice too. But what the deck like, really needs is a full X antibody line because we already have like pretty much good base Greymons, Agumon, Greymon, Metal Greymon, or Grey, but like where's the X antibody line to make the deck as good as it used to be in the EX11 meta or like the EX9? Sorry, BT9 or BT11 metas. I don't think they're ever going to return to that. I think they're scared.
I don't know. Well, the design philosophy has changed.
Yeah.
So
All right, Melga. Okay, guess what? Melga showed up at Eagle's Nest. A few people were playing it, and the deck looked really fun and good. Um, what do you guys think of Melga after EX12? Metal Guru.
well, isn't it only fun and slash good because they people have found a new Degenerate Infinite?
I don't
There
know.
is? I didn't know about this. Wait, a new dog deck
Wait,
exists?
wait. S tier, Kupo? What are you talking about?
There's an Infinite involving Mad Leomon, the
Hold
Were
on.
Garurumon, and Were Garurumon X.
Yeah, but
We
it
gotta
all
look this up.
yeah. There is
But it
it's still one of those. I feel like it's not gimmicky, but it hopes to do its thing, and when it does the thing, it'll do its thing. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
I mean,
that. Yeah,
it's not a consistent thing. It's kind of it it takes the same space as the freaking Legend Arms stuff with the Kosio. Like it's not good. It's just it
yeah.
exists and
Is
it's
it the
not healthy.
BT16 Mad Leo?
Yeah, I think so. It's the Mad
Okay,
Leo that
what
has
is
yeah,
the strategy here?
You
End of
delete
attack,
the
you
end of
delete
attack. Yeah, you delete the Melga decodes out, and then you get to play out the other level 4,
no,
and then
no,
two
no,
level
you
4.
don't even go to Melga. You don't even go to Melga. It's all about the new Were Garuru that has decode,
Okay, because the
inherit, and
inherit
then
though.
the
So you need to
yeah,
go into
and
something else.
you go into the Were Garuru X. So when you
Yeah,
go
you
when attacking,
trash.
you use the when attacking to go
Oh,
into the Were Garuru X
oh,
from the trash, and the Were Garuru X will unsuspend, let you trash some cards, and then you're going to delete yourself and trigger the decode.
Help me, I
And the
don't
where
see it.
X,
Where is it? Here it
I think it's
is.
from EX5. No, no,
Oh,
no, EX5.
later one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I still don't
The
see it. I'm gonna take off.
Oh, it's in the middle, right there. It's next to the
Oh, here it is.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that guy.
So you go
So
into
you're
this
seeing
simply to get the inherit. That's all you care about, right? And this is a one
no,
cost Evo.
no. You use the no. It's a free Evo because you're getting the when you're doing it from the when attacking effect of the
Okay.
DNA Were Guru.
Okay.
So it's free. You Digivolve, you trash two, unsuspend. Then if you have Were
Respy
Guru,
2.
which you
Yeah.
do, yeah. So you go
Respy
into
2.
him, and then you go here. You trash two, unsuspend. Then you have Were Guru in your source. You may return a card with Guru X antibody back, and then so you return a second copy of Where. You essentially can just keep recycling the DNA Were Guru. And then the Mad Leo, by deleting this Digimon, play a level 4 from your trash.
Mhm.
So you can just
Okay.
play itself.
It seems like something that I would not have figured out on my own. So that's interesting
Yeah.
that people
So
picked
so
up
so they
on
just
that.
do that. So the Mad Leo, but with the Mad Leo and the Where Inherit, the Where Guru Inherit plays out the level 4 Guru in EX12. The Mad Leo plays itself. Then you use those two to DNA into Were Guru. You
Mhm.
swing the Were Guru, you do the inherits, you Evo into the Were X, you unsuspend. You end of attack, you pop yourself. You decode out the Guru on delete. You play back the Mad Leo. Rinse and repeat. It's an infinite.
Okay. Do you feel like people are just testing the deck, or does it have some strong merits? And
I don't.
is it gonna run rampant?
I don't think so because you got to think
Yeah,
about like yes, okay, you have infinite swings, but
I mean, infinite swings,
you're
we've seen decks before that could swing a lot and then they just don't end the game. But now you're talking about a new body swinging. That sounds like Huddy.
well, so it's infinite swings, quote unquote, but I don't think that the stack has jamming, and you're not like you have no resiliency.
If you
It's
just
just
die as a 12k in security, that's not playable.
you have some battle protection, right, from the X line.
You would have to have a level. Well,
The
yeah,
bot deck two things from trash to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
yeah, you do. You do have the battle protection, but then
Okay.
when you blow yourself up to keep re-DNAing and everything, you'll lose that
yeah.
on the second. So it's pretty janky,
D- do we
but
know
it
anything about
exists.
this deck? Do we value that type of a strategy highly? Because I
No,
think the
I don't think it can play. I don't think it can play into the sticky board states that interact because that's the thing
Yeah.
is like
that's a good point. It's just a
it
guy
just
that
dies to
swings.
any counter timing effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Counter
So
timing's
it's
actually
just
printed on a lot of cards now. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a funny you
Yep.
know you people have found a way to
Yeah.
literally generate infinite swings,
Hmm.
but it's in a real game in a real actual like game of Digimon where people play their boards out. I don't see this strategy working.
Is
Yeah.
it is
If
it
you're
like
trying to high roll your opponent with loop attacks and you want to do that competitively, I think you should go for angels
mhm.
Yeah, play the
and hope
angel.
to
The
high roll
angel deck
9 rounds.
has at least some other game plan.
Okay,
That's
well,
so
Yeah.
sad. I love the dog decks, and they're always
we
so degenerate.
I feel like I feel like the way you guys described it, we put it into C tier. What do you guys think?
You can bring in the locals and catch a bunch of people off guard, and
But
then
how long is that gonna
they'll.
last? Like, if this is the one deck you're investing in for the format, you might win the first locals that, and nobody's seen this deck yet, and then people know what's going on, and then do you keep on winning at your locals, or is it just gonna be a waste of your investment?
You just
No.
want to spice up a week for at locals
Yeah,
to create some commotion, and
Yeah,
then
you just take
next
like
week.
Deep Savers 1 week, and then you have like a good time with
yeah.
it. You know.
I feel like a deck like Bears or Shine Gray, if that's your deck for the format and you're just playing at locals, you can like win every like third locals with these decks. But this deck, it might win once, and then once people care about like understanding what your deck does because you won, it's like okay, they'll never let it happen again. And I don't think that puts it into B tier. I think it puts it into C tier. Because like you
I
can
agree.
win a game with Chaos Spawn, nobody, or even like Grace Nova, nobody knows what you're doing, and then you like in that scenario, and then you won, and they're like, oh wait, I have to care about Grace Nova. What do the cards do? They read them, and then they're like, okay, I'm not gonna let you win anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
put it there then.
Sounds good.
I have to
It's
shrink
it's
the
it's
page a
just
bit.
a new it's just a new degenerate infinite strategy that
Yeah.
exists, but it's not good. But because it is infinite, quote unquote, I wouldn't be surprised if they discover
Mhm.
it and get a pair ban. They then pair ban the Mad Leomon with the
Mhm.
Wergarurumon and just call it a day.
All right. Gamamon. Gamamon fits into Virus Busters, but we're also going to talk about Virus Busters specifically. So this is just Gamamon. There are people who are long-term Gamamon fans. Gamamon, is a fair deck. It does have really good top end now with the new 2 level 6s that came out. Do you guys feel like this deck is going to keep up with the faster decks up here, or is
No,
it where do you guys put Gamamon then?
it's a C-tier deck right now. I don't like any like the old support just doesn't work with the new stuff.
Hmm.
And every time
You mean
I've played
you mean
against
the new stuff?
Soy
The new stuff
Marcos,
doesn't work with the old stuff.
yeah, vice
Yeah,
versa,
yeah, yeah.
Every time I play against Soy Marcos while he's on the deck, I don't ever feel threatened. I literally can sit there for like 4 turns and I feel like nothing happens.
I
Ouch.
mean, I think the one thing to consider is uh, that Apshkar, the strongest of brothers. It's essentially an emblem. You search, and then all turns when anything is added to the digital evolution cards, you get to evo into any of the gamma line for free. And the new promo Zocturismon is really good too. To hard slam for 7, Devo 3, right? And then taunt something, and then on its deletion you get to play out Proxima.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in a promo Arcturus waiting room,
Because
or is it out right now?
you when you assemble the Arcturusmon, you stack in all those decodes and stuff too, so it just makes this weird sticky on deletion decode type of body that plays out even stronger bodies. And when you play out that stronger body, it plays out something else that's cost 10 or less. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Okay.
it's I would say it's local viable. You'll win some locals with it for sure. And if you take it, early to big events and catch people off guard, you can do some damage.
I'm not so
Okay.
committed to hating on the deck that I don't mind it being in B.
Okay.
It's fine.
Is
That's
the
nice.
promo Arcturus currently legal right now?
Yeah, it's in the packs now.
It's in the
Okay.
same pack as
Yes,
the
it's the same.
Ragnarok,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
galactic
the Galactic.
emblem.
Okay.
Let's do
Yeah,
the
it's pretty good.
let's do so this is Amphimon from Jellymon deck, also
Mhm.
Deep Savers, and this is Diarbitmon, Angoramon, and
Nature Spirit.
NSP. Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's do these together. When these decks first came out in RB1, the Jellymon was the better of these two, but the Jellymon's weakness, and I played the deck a little bit, its weakness was you just ran out of cards in your trash to use the effects. They still put cards in trash to use to do the effect, but I don't feel like the deck solves the problem of having enough cards in its trash still. Like it's a weird problem. Um, Diarbitmon I don't have any experience with, and I never played it, and never played against it, so I don't really have a comment there. Uh, I feel like this deck is in the support waiting room. I just don't. As a deep saver deck though, I don't even know. I'm kind of lost on these two decks. What do you guys think?
I'm so
If
lost
you're
for them that they just got support, and I feel like they're lost and forgotten. Like,
It's
Yeah,
like
the
they're in the
rabbit is
Greymon.
just
They're in
okay.
the Greymon treatment.
NSP
Hold on,
for
I
sure.
want to
No.
add.
So NSP for sure is lost and forgotten
Okay.
because that Diarbitmon support doesn't even freaking work with the old NSP cards. To be
Correct.
fair, I don't think anything works with the NSP cards.
All right.
They're
I think
so
they just
bad.
designed. I think they just designed themselves into a corner
Hmm.
with NSP. It just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Oh, that's right. You
Um,
did build the NSP deck, Kupo. So like,
yeah,
what would the deck need for NSP to work?
I don't think it's possible. I think those cards are just not good. Like they printed a. They actually
Low
printed
quality? Is that what
a
you meant? Like they're low quality cards?
yeah. They're too low quality, and it's a you can see the design growth with that deck because they printed a bunch of multicolored cards that Evo using the same trait, but then they gave it like none of the actual like synergy or a cohesive game plan. Like the original game plan of the deck was to go into a level 7 DNA,
This is
right? To
like
go into
the
the
Toakatl,
Tualakmon. The
Tolok.
Tualakmon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard for me to say it, but like that guy was it just like played something out and deleted something, right? It was a pretty boring
Yeah,
card.
it played it, yeah, you DNA'd into it, it played out two other guys and then nuked something for 21.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
But
It's like
that's kind of it. But it was like in order to even make that happen, you had to like go into the Eldrazi and then gamba the top 3 to hit a 7 play cost, which is why they supported the deck with a bunch of different ace level 6s because that was the whole strategy. And that's not a great strategy. And then they come out and they print these cards, the Diarbit cards, and it doesn't even work with that strategy. So now I don't even think it's
yeah.
possible for you to even think about doing the level 7 DNA thing because the Diarbit one is a dual card that doesn't have a play cost, so you can't
It's
do
like
it. It just does it
anti-synergy.
doesn't work. The fact that they printed a actual level 4 with no text on it in 2024 or whatever, whenever NSP was released, it was just it should have been enough for people to realize like, nah, this deck's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Like,
the most interesting about these two is just Amphimon is a neat tech for maybe a blue
Yes.
deck to trash 4 cards, and you get bot deck
I,
trash 4 cards from Tamers included, which
Yeah, of
is
the Tamers, yeah.
probably one of the few cards that can do it in this current meta right now. And then bot deck,
That's
yeah, Digimon Tamer, and
it
then
is the
think
minus
deep
only positive
co-pay
thing about it.
premium up to that
I
thing.
think Deep Saver actually should go in C. Aegis is a crazy good card. If you want to know what the deck does, they just released a video on the official like Bandai thing, where it's like Deep Saver versus I want to say it was Virus Buster or something. So it's cool. The Aegis is a really strong card. They have the decode. Now they have the ability to strip and stun tamers. Like it has more modernized effects that can play the game. You can absolutely win with Deep Saver. Aegis is just such a strong floodgate card.
Are we
So
undervaluing this? Is this actually a locals deck if you're playing Deep Saver rather than Amphimon?
Okay, as someone who's taken Deep Savers to my locals multiple times with the actual fish deck into the Liberator deck and has looked at the Amphimon deck, no, it's still a C tier deck for sure.
Okay.
Like
yes, it's not lost and forgotten. Like Aegis is a good enough card where like Deep Saver as a strategy can work. But NSP doesn't even function, so it's
Okay.
going into D.
Metal. This is called Metal Empire, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
correct.
Metal Empire, the new Machine Dramon list. I think the deck is fun. I would like to hear you guys tell me it's locals viable or better. But I only played against it once, and I think I got a bad experience playing against it. So
You played against me.
yeah, and it didn't seem like you were getting good draws. So
No, I
and then
still.
tell me about it, Kupo. You talk.
I mean, when we played, I won, right? Like
I
it.
think you won a game out of three.
No, I won. No, I won. I think I won our set because once I made Chaos Dramon, it's like you can't remove it.
Okay,
Right?
sure. I don't
Like
remember at all. Just go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
I did
take
that,
that
and then
one.
I played a set with V Passion as well, right? And I don't remember the result of
I mean, you always
our
beat
match.
V Passion, don't you?
Yeah,
So,
I think I don't know if we played one set or two. I think
yeah.
it was a 50-50. But
Yeah,
part of
I
that may
think right
have
now
knowledge.
it's a knowledge check for many
Yeah,
people dealing
it
with
is
counter and dealing with those the digitamas,
the
and
egg.
then
Yeah,
remembering guard from the field spell, if that's what it's
Hmm.
called.
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
And those three knowledge check alone are new interactions.
yeah.
You know, two
Well,
bodies DNAing out of danger, and again counter and guard. So it makes players have to play the game now in terms of like really assessing opponent's board state and those types of interaction. So it calls for a higher knowledge check, which then makes the deck a little bit more sticky and resilient and more to contend with than autopiloting, swinging to security, blah blah blah.
so is this a fun playable deck, or is this a deck that can come top four in a regional?
Maybe
Um,
early onset, it'll have that
yeah.
free ticket of strength, but then I think as people get better at assessing board states and what what it
Right.
causes,
It'll kind of be like
then
the
Yeah.
reboot mon effect where it was best when it was new, but then everybody realized that Atratus did the same thing. Like the Atratus deck as a whole was better, and it just like fell
yeah, I
off,
mean,
My
and
it still
nobody
has
played it
its
anymore.
strength too. And the last thing I'll add is, yeah, it has its strength for sure, and then it does have some RNG elements to play from the top,
High
right?
Yeah.
I think,
Andromon, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
yeah,
No, not just high Andro. It's the DNA Andromon level 5, and then also the high Andromon level 6. But the power of the deck comes from its just sheer resiliency, because you also are playing the Assembly Metal Garurumon and Wargreymon, right? Metal Garurumon is a sick Floodgate card, and the
Metal
Chaosdramon
Guru.
is incredibly difficult to remove, and all of these cards are going to have multiple instances of decode. Um,
Oh yeah,
so
that's
so
weird.
it's yeah, so it can get pretty crazy. Like I think all four of these decks are at least B. Metal Empire,
All right, well, by all four, are you talking about the
all four of
upcoming
the
decks?
main decks. Yeah, all four of the main decks that come out in
Hmm.
EX12 are at least B.
All right, let's talk about
But
Virus
yeah.
Busters if you're ready then.
So have we decided Metal Empire is B or A? I mean I'm playing the deck right now. Well, I played two out of these four, but my issue with Metal Empire is not that of its strength, but because it takes so long to
yeah.
win, Metal Empire is going to run into the time problem. I think as a deck, power level wise, it can be an A,
When you
but
say the time
whether or not
problem, do you mean giving your opponent too much time to just build a big
no
turn and
no
win?
the
Like,
amount of time it takes to actually finish a match with this deck,
so you don't get to finish
Oh,
the
uh,
round because you ran out of time in the
the
round.
yes, like you need to
I
not
don't
be
think
thinking.
that's like a high player skill problem. I think that's just learning the deck, and
Well,
once you
the,
learned
the
it,
thing
you don't
is,
have that problem anymore.
The thing is, if you know how to play the deck and you can play it quickly, that doesn't mean your opponent knows how to play into it very quickly. And they're going to take a long time
Yeah.
assessing your board, trying to calculate ahead of time, 2, 3 steps ahead to try and make the
Yeah.
best optimal play. And decision paralysis is a real thing.
Right,
So
right. I would say, right now, for me on my end, a high B
it's
tier,
a high
just
B.
because now
Yeah.
that I've learned how to play against it, like for example, not like when you can de-evo them, if you leave them with different levels, like level 4 and 5, or 4 and 3, you have a window there. They're not prone to um, DP, premium DP, or DP, however so. So there are like windows. They're prone to stripping when you can strip them, when they didn't machine drum on Ace. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just a lot of, I feel, open windows for you to dissect the board, if that makes sense.
Why
But
do you
but
feel
that,
like
of course,
they made the machine drum on an ace instead of a regular level 6 with some sort of
So
like
that
reduction effect?
so they could justify it being a 7 play cost printed on the card because
Do
you
you,
need
do you
it to RNG it off the top with high Andromon.
do you feel like they created ace as a mechanic and they're like, oh, we don't want to waste this mechanic that we invented. We want to put it into the game? Because that's what it
It
feels like
makes
to me.
sense. It makes sense in this deck specifically
Yeah.
because you have an Andromon that has a counter timing effect to Evo any of your other Digimon,
Mhm.
and then you have Machine as an ace that can Evo onto the Andromon itself.
Mhm.
So it kind of gives you this situation of like if you enter counter timing and you didn't delete my guys, like I'm gonna Evo on your turn and do something. And
Okay.
that's kind of the game plan that the deck wants to do. And then
All right.
all of its stuff, all of its top end has fragment or some form of protection.
I
Metal Guru has evade, right? Like
I think
it's really sticky.
I think the real decider between if it belongs in A or B is how does it work against the top two decks in the format? Does it beat Beelstar and does it beat the Glowing Dawn decks?
it,
Um,
hmm.
Because if it does, we can put it into A, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Like if it cannot beat them, then what it should not
no,
be
it
an A.
can't. No, it can absolutely beat them.
How,
It seems like I'd have a hard
Whether
time
or
in a
not
breed
above
break.
50% win rate against these two?
No shot,
I
right?
I've played against Beelstar a few times. I have not played it into Beat Break, so right now it's just too early to
But
say.
Kupo, you know beat break super well, so you could just like imagine in your head, like you would know.
Well, it depends on the setup because if they have the guard out
doesn't
it
really save you against minus DP that you have, right? And then you
the other problem is like based on their board, when you go to try to remove them with like let's say the option card, they use the egg to DNA. They won't get the Wind Digivolving effect because you're going to Arts Digivolve, become immune, and then try to pop them. But if it pop the lowest. But if they set their board up where like the lowest is a level 4 and they have another level 4, well then they can re-trigger the egg again and DNA into a level 5. So
So yes, you
so
could win against these decks because based on
oh,
player
absolutely.
skill, which we're imagining
Yeah.
a
You
above
absolutely
average
can.
player skill here, you know what to do in this. Like this is the most popular deck. And if you're gonna practice any matchup, it's this matchup. So you know what to do against them, and you're gonna set yourself up for that, right? And if in that case, are you gonna
You
win more
don't
than half
have
your games?
so you do need the I don't know. I would just have to play it.
Yeah, it's
I imagine the win rate is around 50-50.
What about Beelstar then? Because you did say you played that matchup.
Beelstar, it's did I find Machine Ace?
So yes,
If
it
I
is
find
a good
Machine Ace,
matchup for you. You get
I
protection
wouldn't
from the
say it's
Digivolve. Yeah, I'd put in an A then.
I wouldn't say it's probably 50-50 into Beelstar just because Beelstar is so efficient.
Uh-huh.
And Beelstar only has deletion, right? Like it doesn't have any ability to bottom deck, so you're always going to get to fragment to protect your stuff.
You're
Uh,
you're telling me qualifying information for A. Like this is good
yeah,
news
yeah.
what you're telling me right now. Like, hey, I have a good chance. I just need to find my main card of my deck. Like otherwise, like that's what you want to find for every single game that you play. You always want these main cards. It's not like I want to find my one of. It's like I want to find the main card that I need in my deck, right? So it's of
The
course
only
it's a
thing that's
good
keeping me
idea.
hesitant is because it doesn't have the same level of tamer support that those S tier decks have,
Yeah.
where if you fall behind, you just get a bunch of memory, play a bunch of stuff for free, right? Like you're not doing that with
Well,
machine. Your solution when you fall back is I assemble a level 6 for 7 memory and
mhm.
stall the game.
Okay.
And you can just keep doing that, right? So like it has a lot of play. Like I think it is absolutely at the top of B, if not the bottom of A. Whether or not you want to put it into
yeah.
there, it
Okay.
doesn't matter. It's right there on the cusp of either top of B or bottom of A.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm happy putting it in A because I feel like the deck is also largely undiscovered, and you're
Yeah,
only going to
let's
get
give it
better the
that.
more you play it. And then you're going to realize that there are things you could do to win that you didn't think about today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's save the TB deck for last, but let's talk about SW. Say how do you say this? Seiho Warriors?
Sai
Saiyu?
Warrior.
Saiyu
Yeah.
Warriors. Okay. Saiyu Warriors. What is the mythology this is based on?
Journey to the West.
Yeah, okay, Kupo.
Journey to the
I mean,
West. The
this
Monkey
is turning
King.
into the Kupo podcast, but like, you're the guy who
Well,
believes in this deck also.
these are the two decks that I'm currently
Yeah,
playing. So
sure. So
that's why. But
uh, now, tell me this before you talk about the deck. Which deck do you believe in more, Metal Empire or Seiyu Warriors?
I think SW is better.
Okay, so A tier then, or are we
I,
really
I,
pushing it?
I personally think it is, but the general public will not agree with me
It
because
doesn't
they don't.
matter because you're gonna
No,
prove them
they don't.
wrong. So
They
what do you think based off of your own
so
testing?
if you play it correctly and you're playing Susanomon in the deck and you can actually consistently focus on winning the game by putting your opponent to 3 security and then winning from 3 security to 0, um, it's quite strong. You have
Are
a couple
you
game plans
are
that you're going for.
yeah.
Your
But
your your
w-
primary game plan is to put out the 2 level 6s, the Erlong Takutomon, make a huge board that will replace itself, has guard, has counter timing, and you just use that. And all you need to do is chip 2 security with that kind of board while you rehatch, put a rookie in raising, and put the 3-cost option up, and then you'll win the next turn.
But what I realized about that strategy is Susano still needs 8 names to end up in trash by to pull off that 3 chip and end game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But you will get there
Yeah,
because
you'll get there, but it's not as like just do 2 chips and set up the option. It's more so do 2 chips and cycle enough to have the 8 names, which will eventually happen, but not as soon as you know we are advertising.
well, so I'm assuming that the opponent is going to be removing your stuff or trying to remove your stuff. And when they do that, you're going to have the 8 names in trash. because while you're going up your stack, you're trashing your drawing, and when you play your options, you're trashing your drawing, and then when your stack eventually gets removed, all those cards will go to the trash, and you'll have 8. The games that I've played so far, it follows that timeline pretty nicely. And then if they did a security check on you, a 1, 2, 3 security, that's 3 more cards. So you being able to get to 8 by the time you put that second rookie in raising is like, that's not the question. Like, you're gonna have 8 unless your opponent is bottom decking your trash like a lot.
Okay.
But then you don't focus on that kind of strategy. I think it's definitely up there, and we already know the Kunlun Tamer's coming out, and I think it's going to be able to make really, really good use of it. So
Marshmallow Ruffian,
that's what I have to say.
do you know anything about these decks?
Not at all, bro.
Oh,
Not a single little bit. Like I know a little bit about SW. I've tried to like build a deck for it with like some tax tamers and stuff, but it kind of was mediocre. So I think that the way that Kupo has designed it is probably better, realistically.
so Kupo's got the secret sauce, and everybody else might say it's B or C, but Kupo is gonna prove to you that it's can
I
beat the
I,
best decks. Is that
I
If
the
he's
find
playing
case?
it
tournaments again, maybe, yeah.
I find it funny that you use the Satan Goku alt art for the like
But
representation of the
Yeah.
deck when you only play either one copy or no copies of it
Okay, but
in SW.
you are telling me that now, okay? You could have told me that earlier.
Yeah,
Thanks a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't think Satan Goku is actually the like I'm currently playing it as a 1, and I don't even think it deserves that spot. It's just kind of there because I have it, and
I
I have an alt
honestly,
art of it.
it's like
But
he's Goku. He's cool, right? I like him, and I'm sad that you don't play him. So whatever. Anyways, the deck is
yeah,
good, but Goku is just uh,
he's a cool guy, but it's
he's a cool
actually
guy.
harder. It's harder to assembly Satan Gokumon than it is Susanomon.
Wow, that's saying a lot though,
Yeah,
because Vipassion was just saying that assembling Susanoo is not really that easy in this deck.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
last.
hard to get 3. It's hard to get 3 level 5s, specifically different level 5s, than it is to get 8 cards,
Okay,
8 different cards.
now we have Toho Braves. What is this Digimon's name, Kupo?
Wankomon
Is it
or
really Wanko?
Wonkomon.
Is it Wanko or Wanko?
I think it's Wonko,
And it's Wanko?
but
Okay.
Wanko is adorable.
Well, our friends in Britain love to call him Wankomon. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But based on the Eastern pronunciation of things, it's Wonkomon.
sure. So this is Toho Braves with like the Kaguya and the uh, Ryugamon and Amaterasu. Ultimately, the deck that probably best utilizes Susanomon. Do you agree that it
Yeah.
best utilizes Susanomon?
I think it's yeah, yeah. It
It
does.
does.
It
Yeah,
does
Okay.
because you
sure.
don't need any other pieces. You just
I
Even
put
think
that
better
right
extra
than
trash
now,
for the
Marshmallow's
guy.
Maruki OTK? I'm,
yes.
No.
all right.
No, actually no.
No.
Whenever I go against TB, honestly, it's an easy deck for me to beat. So I've been very unimpressed with it up to this point. But other people play actual decks, and I play Maruki OTK. So
Okay.
that's the difference, honestly.
I mean, we've all actually experienced this deck. I feel like the deck crumbles to Crimson Blaze. When I was playing Medusa with 0 Crimson Blaze, just because of the meta that we were in, I couldn't beat it at all. 0% win rate. Switch back to Crimson Blaze as long as I drew the CM, the CB, I mean, Crimson Blaze, I would
Wait,
win.
did we didn't talk about Virus Buster,
Where's that?
did we?
Oh shoot.
You put it at the bottom of support waiting room.
Yeah,
Oh
that's my
right.
mistake. We'll get to it. So let's talk about Wenku
Yeah.
first. Uh, Honestly, I meant to save Wenko for last, but I'm being silly, so we'll just finish what we're doing. I feel like the deck is not S tier, and people like it because it's new. I don't think they like it because it's the best. I think it's a good deck though, and a lot of
Oh, it's
decks.
for sure. It's for sure a good
It's
deck.
very annoying. So right now, let's move this out of the way. But right now, I would say it's meta defining because so many people are preparing for it. Okay,
And
Yeah,
and
it is.
sheer representation
Yeah,
wise or anticipated representation wise,
yeah.
I think that's where it fits meta defining.
It is
yeah.
meta defining because it is, not because it will stay there. I think the deck is going to fall back to A tier, and we're going to stick on these one and a half, 2.5 decks as the two best decks. I'm just saying these two are like two halves of the same coin. It's like, but it is meta defining today. I think it'll
Yeah.
take 1 week for it to go to A tier. Um,
Until
I-
Kunlun comes out, and then we'll see what
and
Kunlun actually does, and then we'll
yeah,
yeah.
reevaluate.
that's a good point. Now if we're making this tier list for today, July 13th, 2026, it would be S, but we don't want to mislead people, so I think we should put it into A so
I
that
think
they
it's an
don't
A2 deck
over
personally.
prepare for this deck and they actually keep their eyes on the best decks in the meta to be focused on. What do you
Well,
guys think?
hold on. To be fair, I don't think it's over preparing to keep TB in on your radar because it's the
Yeah.
newest deck. I think it's
It-
also such a drastic change from what our current meta is that I think a lot of people are flocking to it that
Yeah,
really
yeah,
hate the OTK stuff going on.
So do we
yeah.
actually put it
It's the
into
most.
S tier because
It is defining the meta.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
it's
mentioned at the beginning that EX12 is a complete redesign of how the Digimon card game is being looked at, like from a lead design perspective. You can see the design change in this set. This is the first set under the new designer, and TB, I think, more than the other three decks, embodies that design philosophy uh, more like apparently. It's more obvious with TB than it is with the others. Because TB's game plan is like super straightforward. You build your guy, you execute, you get a bunch of value, and then you slam Susano later on after your trash is full. Right? Like the game plan is very obvious, very straightforward, and pretty simple to execute once you learn the combos. Uh,
Yeah, and the
so yeah,
Susano button is it's an easy out to to clear any of your opponent's board state's
yeah,
response. It's
yeah.
one of the easiest
yeah.
button to press to do a lot for not much, and then you end up with a couple other bodies out. And if you got the options, you've got a 6 out, so you don't have to do too much to get a lot. Um, and also, it's also set defining too. It's the first secret Susano in a long time that stays or that actually triple or doubled in price.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
Yep.
point that you bring up the market because uh I mean I know you guys, I know Vpassion and Kupo, you guys look at the market. So like this card was started at like less than $40 and then it jumped how much? Like what happened on the price of
The
this
the
card?
altar the altar on day of release, about 24 hours after release, was down to 39.99 USD, and then 24 hours after that, so 48 hours after release, it went all the way up to 80, and it's still hovering around like high 70, 80 USD for the
and
altar
the
Susano.
secret probably went to a low around like 28, and it's now currently sitting at 59, essentially
Yep.
60.
Yeah. It's been a long time since a secret rare has done
Yeah,
that. So that just
yeah,
goes to show like Susanomon as a card is redefining how the game is going to be played
Okay.
yeah.
moving forward.
Essentially, minus 18 to your board, recover one, place Digimon if it's still surviving to your opponent's security, trash one, check one with rush, execute. Like it's a pretty
Yeah,
big, powerful button to press. For a cost of 7 essentially.
Yeah.
yeah.
All
And
right.
in the SW deck, it's doing the same thing, but it's doing trash one, check one with Alliance, 2 checks, and it's for 5 or 6 memory instead. So it's a powerhouse of a level 7. We haven't
So
we haven't seen a card interact like this since Medieval Gallantmon, I think.
I was talking about how this deck is, well, as if I'm playing Medusa, my out to it is Crimson Blaze. If you guys are playing the SW or the ME deck, do you tech Crimson Blaze because you know this is going to show up in tournaments?
No, no, no. The matchup between TB and SW is remarkably balanced.
And
You
what
you
about the
can.
machine?
I haven't played Metal Empire into TB, but
Mm,
I think TB might be more favored because the Susano button DP minus blanket is
Yeah,
very very powerful. But if they don't win the game off of that, Metal Empire just assembles a Chaos Dramon and clears the board, and then
so Metal
asks them
Empire
to see if they do it again.
actually has the long game if the game is not ended fast enough.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
it's
They,
hard
they
to say
all
because
play the long game. All
yeah,
four of these decks in EX12 can play the long game,
All
Yeah.
four, including Virus Busters, you mean,
including
right?
Virus Buster. But Virus Buster is probably the
Is Virus
least.
Buster? Let's talk about Virus Buster now. So the last one on the list, it's Omnimon. He's the hero of all the Royal Knights. I don't know what his story is, but he's the hero. Uh, what do we say about him? I mean, I want this deck to be good because it has Greymon in it and it's cope. And I've been telling
Virus Buster
people
is good.
to solve the deck, but people aren't playing it. But we're new to the format, but I still don't see people playing it. So is this deck gonna be A tier? Is it gonna? Are we recommending people to play it?
It's a B tier deck.
Oh no.
So the reason why I think Virus Buster is not quite there is because all four of these decks can play the long game, but Virus Buster has the weakest like stickiness, like recursion. It's more focused on being aggressive, using the tamer and the option to like
Hmm.
play out more guys to then DNA and keep
Hmm.
attacking,
Yeah.
right?
The biggest problem
So
I see with the deck is that a Tratismon is a data card, and obviously, it's uh, these guys are vaccines are not good against data. So that's no, I'm just
yeah,
making a
yeah,
joke. That's like the
yeah.
very old Digimon card game, whereas the triangle of data, vaccine, and virus. But yeah, so um, yeah, I just don't think it beats Glowing Dawn. That's all. So I don't think it could be A tier because if you can't beat Glowing Dawn, then what are you doing?
I think
I
it can. It plays three or four copies of the Dual Serious Mon that just punches it.
Oh yeah, but you need to play now. You need to play the Serious Mon, which I
They
don't
do.
think is the best level 6 just because the meta says you have to counter Digimon that are Digimon immune. But then if you have I don't know, I don't like it.
This, I mean, the Virus Buster deck does play the Dual Serious Mon because
I agree
it
with you, it
is quite a
does.
strong card.
I agree with
It
you.
has progress.
Yeah,
It's really really strong. So
I agree.
it has the answers. It's the only one of these four decks that it got option removal in the form of the Dual
Oh,
Serious Mon.
actually that's a really good point that you make. Yeah, it's the only one with the dual option. Yeah.
It's
I
the
think
only one with
we're
any
yeah.
option. But I just think as a design, this one it has hints of the current way that Digimon is played, where it's like be aggressive, combo, do a bunch of damage, and like OTK your opponent.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
and
it doesn't. But it
it's
doesn't do it as efficiently on the same level as actual OTK decks,
just
and
a
it
lot
doesn't
of
have the resilience that the other decks
it
have.
goes in a lot of direction right now. I think there's like it's split between this Gamamon stuff, this Melga stuff, this Omnimon stuff. So there are so many different
Yeah, yeah.
directions you can take it. Like, do lean more Gamamon heavy centric, or are you leaning into more Omnimon DNA centric? So
I just
it's
think
kind
it
of like
hasn't been solved. It
yeah, it
hasn't been
hasn't been
solved.
solved, kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So
When I looked at the deck, I was asking other people to play it because I could not figure it out. There's too many choices. Like there's actually four different level 4s and 5s you could choose. That's too much for me to
Mhm.
think about. I need like two or three. There's four though.
Yeah,
But anyways, yeah, I feel like the deck is needs the most work to from good deck builders compared to all the other ones. That's why
yeah,
right now it's not high power and it could go up if somebody can crack it.
yeah,
Okay. I mean
yeah.
there's the deck list. Final thoughts from anybody before we close this up?
The Shambhala cards are do have support coming, guaranteed. So not just the Kunlun Tamer next set, but also the Enmamon for TB and the Shakamon for SW. So there is more Shambhala stuff
Yeah.
happening. So those decks I'm personally looking forward to. But
All right.
I think as it stands right now with EX12 out before BT26, this is pretty good.
Okay.
Invest in Dark Masters. They're getting 5 new promo cards. Good news.
Yeah, the Apocalypse
Yes.
stuff. He knows
Make
everything,
make
guys.
make the price of Apocalypse cards go
Go
up so
up.
Marshmallow can sell them.
Skyrocket. No, I could buy more of them for more price, so that way they can go. Oh wait, people are buying these cards. Maybe we should actually make some support for them. That could go
Well,
crazy.
that's another point. Yeah, if a card sells a set, people their Bandai knows to make more of that card. All right. I think we're gonna have to end it here. We've gone longer than the last video, which we didn't even
Somehow.
intend to do. Thank
Somehow.
you so much, Marshmallow, Envy, Passion, and Kupo, for joining Eagle's Nest tonight for this discussion on the tier list. Hopefully, we got this mostly right. Obviously, the format is new. More information will come out later that, I mean, we're going to keep up with it on a personal level, but we're not going to make another tier list until the next set comes out. So uh, there are corrections here and there to be made. Again, thanks
For sure.
everybody for coming out tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, good
Have a good
night.
night, everyone. Thanks, Michael, for having us. See you in BT 26.